Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be here with you guys tonight. Sorry about the delay. I have stumbled on some news that I felt as though was pressing, and I wanted to just simply make it that much better. So, big news in regards to, believe it or not, Jasmy, but we have the weekend update presented to you today, and it's going to give you an idea about all this talk in regards to the bull market. Some of you guys have been talking about the bull market. Is it actually going to happen? So we got that for you guys as well. Please smash that like. We're going to get into all these topics here tonight. And again, try to share the show, try to retweet it if you have access to do so. But yeah, on YouTube, basically smash that like. Do appreciate you guys being here. Only about 15 people here. We're going to wait for a few more people to come in. A lot of fear in the market too. But, we're going to get into all of it, where we have 15 or we have 30 or whatever the case be. Let's see how we're doing on likes real quick. We have 21 people here, 21 likes, 22 people, or 22 likes now, gosh. Anyway, we'll catch up with all of it. We're going to recognize you guys. Again, thank you for being here. Let's start off with the first comment that I see. There probably was some other comments before, but this is what I see right now. So let's go ahead and welcome the one and only Brian Dowie. And he's saying what's up to Tim. So yeah, glad to have you here, Brian Dowie. Boom. Stump Riders in the house. Big Watch Dude in the house. Saying what's up to Legrand. So yeah, so hello to those guys as well. Glad to have you guys. Big Watch Dude, all you guys. Bobby Loretti, welcome. Just really glad to see a lot of you guys. Boomer effing sooner. Boomer effing sooner. Yes, thank you for being here. Hopefully you enjoy that, reference to Major League, right? I tagged you on that one. But yeah, glad to see you guys here. Tim Shea, the Mayor of Crypto Commission representing the 589th. Thank you for being here, Mr. Tim Shea. All right, let's see here. You're saying hello to Patrick. You really represented last Friday on Max's Space. I'm looking forward to that next space. Where we'll have more of a proper format, give people more of a sense of value and so on. Kind of like what we do on the, this show, the YouTube and so on. But, there'll be times in which, we have that little community talk at the same time. But yeah, there will be a certain type of format. And I think people appreciate that. All right, I'm going to go further down. Welcome a few more of you guys. We got Stump Rider in the house. We also got Ahmed. Welcome, Ahmed. Never change the avatar. That's a great avatar. Love that avatar. Good to see Ahmed. If you guys are just connecting, please smash that like. We do have some big Jasmy news to get into. I don't want to just say it's big if it wasn't for any reason. I'm going to tie in some things. I'm going to let you guys think about what you think in regards to what we tied together. I personally think it's huge. We connect a lot of dots here, and some people are going to say this is speculative, but I don't know. I'm just going to present the information. You make your own conclusion in that regard, but there is something about the timing of all this. And if you've been paying attention to what I'm talking about, you already know what I'm talking about. Big stuff, right? Mr. Elon Musk, the X platform, Google. Can you imagine mention that in the same breath as Jasmy? Yeah, no kidding, right? Crazy stuff. All right, I'm going to go further down. Boomer officer, the time keeps on ticking into the future. Let's go, Max. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about the delay, guys. All right, so we are. I'm not going to click on that one, but I saw that comment. That's good stuff. All right, let's see here. Yep, Ahmed, I would agree with that statement. You might want to do that. All right, let's see here. April Cornwell says, hey. Glad to have April Cornwell. Glad to see you, April. Hopefully you're, can rest and take it easy a little bit. All right, let's see here. Going further down. Looks like Max is late. Smoke break. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I was just trying to make it a little bit better. And it just kind of instant, like just briefly saw it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I probably should totally get into this. It was like a last moment thing. I already had material. I was like, this is the material looking for. Lionel Richie, right? Absolutely. Rick Cogswell, welcome back. Glad to see Rick here. Appreciate you, Rick. Thank you. Cool Cat Crypto is in the house. We got Almo. Welcome back to Almo. Good to see you, Almo. Shout out to you and Daniel Gayton and the crew over there. We got to welcome this guy back, man. Are you kidding me? Salamander, the XDC commander, has found his way back home. So cool. Glad to have you here. Of course, guys, I did see him on Twitter and so on and, gave him that welcome. But really glad to see Sal. Means a lot, man. Really means a lot to see you here, Salamander. All right, we're going to go further down. Welcome a few more of you guys. Let's welcome some new people, unless you change your name or something. Let's welcome Hamish. He says, hi, all. Let's welcome Hamish. Glad to have you here, Hamish. And you just saw, yeah, that was Harris, right? He's like, up your butt, Joe Boo, and he takes the drink, right? And of course, all sorts of bad stuff happened to him after that, so maybe I shouldn't reference that. But anyway, but yeah, Major League's a classic. Glad to have Sobo here. She said, hey, Max, glad to have you here, Ms. Sobo. Boom, right back at you, Sobo. Thank you for being here. All right. Patrick Collier up in here. Magic Power. Hello, guten Tag, the Liechtenstein Exchange. And Jasmy with the Race Club Consortium in the house. Let's go. All right, we're going to get into the outline of what we have here, obviously, in a bit. Hi, Max. Love your deep dives. Thank you so much. If you enjoy the deep dives, you're really in for a treat tonight. Okay? Absolutely in for a treat tonight. So thank you for that. And guys, make sure you welcome him. We always welcome newcomers to MaximusCrypto. That's right. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. And let's see here. Let's also welcome River. Kylo. Welcome back, Kylo. Hey, Max. Hey, gang. Where's Mr. Dingy? He always says gang, gang. Maybe he's watching it on the replay sometime. That's okay. Half Dan the Black, which I have to remember is, he's like, he's not going to remember me. Yeah, I remember you. Danilo, welcome back, man. Glad to have you. All right. So we're going to get into, before saying that affects everybody, right? Is there really going to be a bull market? Well, of course there's going to be a bull market. There, in the history of mankind, even with stocks, right? There's, of course, the accumulation phase, there's a bull market, there's a bear market, crypto as well, right? So don't be hanging your head down too much, right? Lift it up and things are going to get back to normal. But if anything, consider a blessing that you still have an extended time for the accumulation phase. That's the bottom line, right? I did see a few more people come in here. Corey Bibe, welcome. Crypto Jedi, welcome. Glad to have you guys here tonight. All right, so what we're going to do is pull this up. You guys are accustomed to this. This is something that we've done for a while. This comes straight from a premium service called Investor Place. And I want to jump basically right into it. So here it is. And, weekly update, 5 reasons the crypto markets could be due for a comeback soon. Everybody wants to know if there's a real true bull market coming. And, for some of us, we feel as though, well, there was a pause. We got hints of what was to come. And then, of course, there was that temporary Fed pause, but it wasn't a true Fed pause. True Fed pause would have been blast off. So is there something here? Or am I presenting to you a nothing burger? No, not a nothing burger. So we are starting to see reasons to get more and more bullish. Of course, this is presented from Luke Lango and Charlie Shrem. Charlie Shrem has been into Bitcoin as a BTC since 2010, part of the Bitcoin Foundation. Now, what we're going to note here is quite a few things, and there's about 5 key things for this outline. So for one, cryptocurrency market posted its first weekly gain this week since early August, snapping a 4-week losing streak for cryptos, mostly thanks to favorable legislative and macroeconomic developments, something that we always talk about. Pay attention to what's going on with inflation, pay attention to jobs report, pay attention to all of the things that affect the overall picture. Did you know BTC pushed higher by 2%? Notable gainers included Toncoin, VeChain. Some of you guys had that. We just did that video on Render intro, right? Notable losers include, of course, ApeCoin, Pepe, and yes, A-Star. Oh no, Max is finally going after A-Star. No, just because Sony chooses them, so may I go after them? But that was down 15%. All right, I'm gonna go further down, and this part. Specifically over the past week, we observed 5 reasons for increased crypto market bullishness. At the bottom line, this is the area you want to pay attention to. This and the actual charts that we're going to show you and so on. We don't do a lot of technical analysis here at Maximus Crypto, but we show you the actual reports, right? Everything cited comes from Bloomberg Financial. You can look it up for yourself and verify it for yourself. And if you want to nerd out, do it. Favorable legislative developments. We think the odds of a favorable crypto market regulatory clarity rose dramatically this past week after SEC Chairman Gary Gensler begrudgingly, if I pronounce that right, told the Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday that he is actively reviewing various spot Bitcoin ETF filings. Now, another person that was talking a lot about this, if you follow him also, is Zach Rector. So this shouldn't be going right past your head. Those comments, of course, come after the court's recent ruling against the SEC's rejection of Grayscale's ETF filing. It increasingly appears that Gensler and the SEC are being forced to be more open to cryptos, which we believe pays the path for just that, a Bitcoin ETF approval within the next few months, or 2 months, not few months. So, like Legrand pointed out, some of you guys also point out, typically speaking, or historically speaking, when it comes to September, right, this is what happens. You see a major pullback in the market. And actually, the pullback was in August, right? And, September just historically is just not like the best month as far as any bullish indicators and so on. But is there something going to happen in the next couple months? Well, if you even go to historical perspectives and so on, even in the last bull market, big things happened. I remember when some of those big things happened. I mean, my $1,700 investment into CRO, something that we don't talk about a lot, but a lot of you guys still have some CRO. Just because I don't talk about a lot, I still have a lot of CRO, right? Well, I went with my gut and I cashed out on that one when it went to a little over 10K in my portfolio. I just felt as though that was the time to do so. And I said to myself, this is one that I'm not going to be married to or anything like that. And I was glad I did. But again, the timing of that, right? So I believe that happened roughly in that time period, last bull market. What about this thing? Rebuilt correlation with stocks. Now, this is a good area to pay attention to. A lot of times we do talk about the correlations with stocks and so on. So if we're talking about correlation for altcoins when it comes to BTC and especially Ethereum, what about correlation with stocks? Valid point. So throughout the first 5 months of 2023, when cryptos were on fire, Bitcoin had established a very strong positive correlation, were you aware of it, with stocks. The correlation broke in June when cryptos started to fall flat throughout June and July and into early parts of August. And we pointed this out before. Bitcoin's 30-day correlation coefficient with the NASDAQ 100 dropped to negative 0.1. Now, over the past few weeks, it has rebounded strongly and now sits at plus 0.4. And of course, you've seen plenty of content creators talk about some of this stuff. A level that is consistent with what further crypto market strength. And here's some of that report. Like it says, moving in tandem again, BTC rebuilds correlation with what? Tech stocks. You might not be the most tech savvy person, but you can understand what's shown here. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Again, the source is from Bloomberg, and it is the 2023 recent report that was put out, I believe, the last few days ago. All right, a little bit more about this. Remember how we talked about the Fed pause? We've been talking about Fed pause for, oh my gosh, probably at least a good 6 months. And then there was that point where it felt like it was a real Fed pause. Things turned bullish. Went up crazy. I should say too crazy, right? But it was like 1.11 trillion or something like that, maybe higher. And then we had that big pullback. So the Fed, of course, meets this week, right? It says next week, this week basically. And the futures market is pricing 98% odds that the Fed skips the rate hike. Now, if you're wondering why I say, well, last week, this week, these reports come out on a Saturday, every Saturday. And of course, I'm not with you guys on the weekend, so I give you the report on a Monday. So it goes on to mention the futures market is also pricing in 60% odds that the Fed doesn't hike rates again this cycle. Wow, that's not too bad, right? We think the odds are actually higher. Do you think the odds are actually higher? We are pretty convinced for various reasons that the Fed is finally done hiking rates. Do you agree with that? Of course, there's always going to be some people who say no, that is wrong, and I understand that. It says, if so, that could provide a very bullish development for cryptos because dovish shifts in Fed policy tend to increase risk appetite and by extension, the flow of money into the crypto markets. You guys are probably accustomed to seeing this before. This is a little bit different. So if you didn't see this or the one that we had like this before, it's very similar. Okay. So even dating back in that area, that fine area of turning over from 2018 going into 2019, where it shows, that Bitcoin bottom, and then it shows, for instance, that Fed pause. What happens? You do see BTC starts to surge. By the time you get to 2020, you really, really start to see the surge. I think even Legrand pointed that out in the past, like, the start of that bull market for that last cycle, right? And you see how that climbed something fierce. If you go further into this, and depending on how you're looking at it, if you're on your phone or whatever the case be, I'll come out of the frame for a moment just to put some emphasis on this. So you do see what I'm talking about right here. And, it is just that, seeing how this all gets to the point where it takes off. Again, those Fed pauses. Why is that such a big deal? It's a big deal because a true Fed pause does mean just that. BTC typically goes on to surge. So are we literally at the end of this cycle? Accumulation phase. Is it the time running out within the next 2 months? Some people are yes, some people are no. It's still really mixed. All right, getting more into this. Excuse me. Let's go further down. I want to share this with you as well. And that is this right here. This is something that's always talked about. Okay. So let me come back into the frame. Moving average conversions. BTC is still trading below all of its major moving averages. The 50-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day. When I did that show with Teddy Ganja, we were talking about that 100-day and even the 200-day. But we actually like the setup here, like it says. Since all of those moving averages are converging right now in the 27,400 to 28,400 range, at the same time that Bitcoin, as in BTC, is stabilizing right below those levels. If the Fed does provide an upside catalyst for cryptos next week, then BTC could easily retake all of its major moving averages in a single day rally. Now, I'm telling you flat out, I've seen this in the past. Some of you guys that have been into this crypto investment game, some of you guys don't like me calling it a game, but it feels like a game, have remember some of these things. And this is where a lot of talk of the town starts to happen. Mainstream news starts to report on some of this stuff because that's where people feel as though, oh my gosh, now that's the taste of the real bull market because they do happen to see big things happen in a day. Am I talking about alts? No, but I am talking about BTC. And as you guys know, and maybe you get tired of me saying it, the overall crypto market is still BTC and Ethereum. It represent 81% of the overall market. So it gets pretty shocking to say the least. All right. So it says that would be very bullish for BTC in the entire crypto market. I couldn't agree more. BTC is consolidating right below all of its major moving averages. There's a representation of how that is so. And of course, this has been dating back to, what was it? Back in April 2021. And then you see it to, the September present area. Okay. The levels that you should be paying attention to is like what we talked about earlier, 27.4, 28.4. We get to the new upside, a 35K plus a BTC. That is significant. We pointed that out before. All right. The other elephant in the room, I shouldn't say the other elephant in the room, but in reality, this is always something that's going to get brought up. All right. So this is 0.5, and I think this is going to wrap it up for this segment. Everybody knows the thing that's coming up here soon, right? Literally not even a half year away, right? Give or take, the Bitcoin halving, BTC halving. So halving hype is building. You're going to see a lot more people talk about it. You probably already have. Am I oblivious to think that you only watch this show? Of course not. So it says, we are starting to hear a lot of folks talk and write about BTC's fourth halving. Right. Everybody's paying attention to that. Expected in the spring of 2024, April, give or take, right? But we continue to view this as the big catalyst, of course, for crypto or cryptos. Each of the prior three halves were hugely bullish catalysts for the crypto markets. I couldn't agree more. Sometimes cryptos rally into the halving. Sometimes they also were chopped into halves. Always, though, they rallied after the halving. And that's the key thing you want to take away from all of this. If you're brand new to all this and just heard the concept of BTC halving, you don't understand it and so on, just let this be your key takeaway. You don't have to be super technical. And that is just like it says, they always rallied after the halving. So what does it mean for you in regards to your investments? How much did you accumulate during the accumulation phase? Are you going to absolutely wreck yourself because you don't understand 4-year cycles, right? It's all worth paying attention to. It says, we think this pattern will hold and would advise folks to keep their eyes on the prize, if you will, which is a big post-halving boom in 2024. This is where everybody gets that expression of, you'll make a lot of money in 2024, but you're going to make the most amount of money, maybe that life-changing wealth, in late 2025 and so on, where, the expression of a utility run will come, or the other expression of, the last bull market. Take it as you will. Maybe you don't agree with it. It doesn't matter. But the point is, paying attention to all this. Hold on a second. Excuse me, making sure I'm not muted. Maybe I should take a drink of this real quick. The pineapple. See, Mr. Edward Vincent said, get yourself some pineapple juice. Pineapple fat juice, right? Anyway. So, yeah, let's take a look at more of this. So, BTC booms span supply halving cycles. Oh, man, if you're wondering, what's the history behind this, right? The history behind this is literally what you see on the screen. It dates all the way back to, for instance, 2012. That was the first halving, all right? So, it's just, I don't know, kind of like late 2012 going, almost getting to 2013. Boom, you see some big things. It's, oh my gosh, was that a plus 44,921% after the halving? The second halving, right? That was very, very significant. From what I'm seeing here, this is like roughly 2016, give or take. How much of a percentage was that on the second halving? That was, a huge percentage, right? Went up 10,432%. All right. Let's see here. The third halving, that was back in 2020. You saw an increase of about 2,046%. Right. Not significant, of course, back in 2016, but still worth pointing out, right? So what's going to happen on the fourth one? Right? That's the bottom line. And of course, you can look more into this yourself if you choose to do so. A lot of you guys already have. All right, wrapping things up in regards to this segment. And this is something that we do weekly for you guys. It's a weekend report brought to you on a Monday. Overall, we're looking at a crypto market that is showing promising signs of life, and which, with the right catalyst, like potential Bitcoin ETF approval and or Fed pause, like I've always pointed out before, could really surge over the next few months. We are quite bullish on the outlook for stocks going into the end of the year. We're also growing pretty bullish on the outlook for a major crypto rally over the next 3 to 4 months. All right. I'm just going to give you this update in regards, because they have portfolio updates. I might do all of them, but a lot of us are into Polygon, right? Polygon's a great price right now. We gave you some outlines in regards to, is it like over the 80% mark? You're going to be chasing this uphill. Kind of passes all those check marks, right? If you don't understand what we're talking about with some of this stuff, go back into the recorded video section. It's the video called Jasmy and QNT, Understanding Tokenomics, and it highlights a few of the key things. But Polygon, in my opinion, passed that tokenomics approval meter, if you will. All right, so Polygon, here's a little update. begins this transition to Polygon 2.0. 3 Polygon improvement proposals were released this last week that outline changes expected to take place in early Q4. The updates revolve around transitioning from Matic to a new POL token without disrupting developers or users. So interesting. All right, gonna stop the share on that one. Let me know what you think in regards to all this, and we'd be glad to hear from you. Please smash that like. Let's also see how we're doing on likes. We're at 37 likes, currently speaking. I do appreciate that. Let's welcome a few more of you guys who just recently came in. Of course, we already welcome Corey Bebe. Let's welcome you again. Crypto Jedi, glad to have you guys here. Tyler Kritz, welcome. Here's a dab. Let's welcome Tyler. Consider changing your avatar. Something speaks more about who you are and what you're about. But glad to have you here, Mr. Tyler Kritz. All right. Let's see here. BlackRock and XRP. More like Black. Well, I'm not gonna say that right now. Yeah. I could go with that. All right. I kind of had to bite my tongue on some things, but anyway. Yeah. All right. Yeah. BlackRock and XRP. I could go with that. Definitely. All right. Purchase some Caspa. You just purchased some Caspa. That's good, man. Awesome. Congratulations. All right. Crypto Jedi. If QNT is below 100 on my next paycheck, then I'll buy some more Quant. Well, remember it was all the way down to $92. Let's see how Quant is doing as we speak. We'll pull up that screen for just a brief moment. And we do see that Quant is, where the heck is it? 91.23. Nice. Yeah, absolute buy. I would agree. All right. We're going to see if you guys have any questions, comments, stuff like that. Let's also welcome Brittany. If I didn't welcome you earlier, Brittany, glad to have you here. Brittany. All right. Let's see. We have Warp. Only wreck Tembler if you're not prepared. Oh, that's Brian Riley. I'll be darned. All right. Well, welcome, Brian Riley. Warp 7. Nice looking logo, man. All right. Thank you for saying smash the like. Appreciate that. Ready for the Fed to start lowering rates? I think a lot of people are. All right. Let's see here. You guys got any questions, anything like that? If not, that's okay. Brian Riley says he's still convinced that it will start after the BTC halving in regards to a real true bull market. That's a good point. GT, welcome. Fed pause incoming. I think so, man. I do feel that it's finally going to be the case, but I want to see a real true Fed pause, not some temporary pause, right? All right. Yeah. Glad to see you guys commenting. All right, let's see here. Corey Bebe, in his opinion, he believes they paused this week. However, my question is, will they be done? Well, it's kind of mixed on that. Like Investor Place feels as though it's a lot higher than the 60% chance. That's the general, I guess you could say, report on people polled, right? They have higher than that. They, of course, could be wrong. I'm not saying that they're the end all be all, but typically speaking, I go with their reports a lot more often than I do the next guy, simply because I've looked at their track record and so on, and they've gotten it right a lot of times. They've gotten it wrong on some things, but a lot of times they get more right than they do wrong. All right. Dwight Montress, welcome. Glad to have you here. LeGrand says he'll be back. And let's just jump into welcome a couple more people. Just giving you guys a heads up. Learn and Evolve will be a special guest on here at some point. I'll have to also get with Sean the Crypto Smith. I remember he said he wanted to be the first guest, but we'll see how that works. But yeah, we're gonna have Darius on here. He says, "What up, folks? Glad to have you here." Darius, boom. Somo Fudd, boom. All right, glad to have you guys here. All right, I will read this and then I'll kick it back into the outline of what we have, which will be the Jasmy outline. And then after that, we got a lot of information to get into in regards to XRP, XDC, a lot of ISO 222 news and updates. We're going to be sharing a lot of info from, Mr. Man, right? AKA Spidey. Corey says, correct me if he's wrong, but he believes over the past 84 years, only one has the markets been down the year before a presidential election. That's a good point, right? If you're going to look at it from like stock perspectives. Okay. I won't be able to correct you if you're wrong on that because I have to look more into that myself. You guys know me. I'm not going to BS you on something I don't know 100% about. Yeah, it is interesting. All right, let's get into what we have. It is the Jasmy segment. This time, this has to take the cake. All right, so it all started off with the one and only Mike Cornwell, and he retweeted something that maybe you guys saw it, maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't think much about it. Maybe you're like, that sounds cool, but I don't know much. I don't know much about it. Let's basically tie everything together. Something we do. We are now at 47, and that's amazing considering how new this channel is. Can't thank you guys enough. It really means a lot. And let's see here. We are at 40 likes. So thank you so much. Please smash the like. Let's simply get into the Jasmy segment for you guys tonight. And this may very well be one of the best segments we ever done here. I want you to take it for yourself. Like, draw your own conclusion. Just because I present it to you, don't have the attitude that, that's the end all be all. Draw your own conclusion based off of what I'm sharing with you, right? I try to connect the dots for you guys. I'm also giving you another heads up. I'm having an extremely hard time tonight with my asthma. There's been a lot of dust lately in the Valley of the Sun, and every once in a while I get like an asthma flare up. So if it does seem like I'm kind of struggling to breathe, that's why. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And let's start off with this right here. And this comes straight from Mike Cornwell originally. You're not going to see him on this, but he did retweet this. Okay. All right. And I guess originally it came from this guy. So his name is James West, and that sounds very familiar. Oh, I'm thinking James West, right? Anyway, played by Robert Conrad. Some of you guys are old school. Remember that old show? Anyway, he says, we are 198 days to the next Bitcoin halving. Don't you like how I kind of like time that in, right? Had to do it this way. Yes, 2024 date. According to the BTC halving countdown clock is scheduled to take place at block 840,000, which is predicted to be solved on April 25th, 2024. Okay. So that timeline about spring makes sense. Of course, he even has the time, right? If you want to nerd it out, right? UTC. Bye, right? Jasmy Management, Jasmy. So this guy who is Crypto Alert at My Crypto Alert, he has this. And let's go ahead and just get right into it. Here we go.
Guys, there's a new report, an alert about Jasmy coin, a coin that was developed by the CEO of Sony, talking about integration of this coin within Google. If this becomes official news, this is huge and is going to lead to a huge price bump for Jasmy, which is sitting right now at about a half a penny. I did a full video on it. Check out my video on YouTube, which is in the bio. It's up 10% already just today.
Okay, so that's not obviously today. And obviously, some of you guys probably went and tried to see the report. I mean, if anything, I might go to it myself and see where it's up to. But I doubt it's I doubt that Jasmy's up 10% as we speak. Let me just pull this up. Yeah, in fact, it's slightly down. So one thing I want to state is this, right? Utility in motion. We talked about this before on the I think last time I was with you guys. Utility in motion means just that. It's the actual utility in motion. In this case, a Jasmy personal data locker and so on. Is that really in motion? You get a partnership. All those are positive catalysts. Don't get me wrong, right? It helps complement, and bring out the flavors of the project as tokenizer would state, right? Remember all these key things. Let's jump into if there's actually anything solid to back up what you just heard in that report. Of course, I'm going to do that, right? That's something I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you to this next part. And it is referenced to this picture that you're going to see from a screenshot. And it's actually pretty blurry. I do apologize for that. But this is what is in reference. And I'll come out of the screen for just a moment. And like it says, Elon Musk is resurrecting a familiar digital payment model. Like it says, X may turn into user info monetization to fund this novel digital payment service. Now, for many of you guys, you feel as though, well, this is not a big deal. I already know about that. Max, you even talked about, this before about you bragging about that, hey, you can't wait till you get monetized on Twitter because they pay out about double what YouTube does. Right, true. But this report came out August 25th of 2023. And like it says, reports are swirling on social media about Elon Musk leaning into a new, quote, PayPal-like digital payment platform with a huge twist. It would add a user information monetization feature to the platform. Now, what is this? And is this a nothing burger for you? I don't think it is. Now, where I'm going with this is this, okay? I'm not going to BS you. A while back, we were all paying attention to Elon Musk going to Japan. Now, if you're a Jasmy holder, you know already where I'm going with this. And for some people, they may not like this. They don't like me doing this. Max, you're just trying to turn nothing into something. This is all speculation. Okay, I get it. I'm going to show some things, some different links, some different resources, references, and so on. And again, try your own conclusion. Make up your own mind if you think that this is solid. Let's get more into this, obviously. So, for one, there's also this, all right? Again, back to the one and only Mike Cornwell, who retweeted this from Minalagwar. So, both of them, right? Japan greenlights crypto fundraising in a major win. And why point this out? What the heck does this have to do with Google? Well, it's not that it has anything to do with Google, but you got to point it out. Japan, right? Crypto fundraising in major win. Japan greenlights yet another groundbreaking crypto law poised to change the crypto landscape in the region. By changing some groundbreaking laws, you got to keep in mind it attracts other investors. Maybe the likes of Twitter, maybe the likes of Elon Musk. Not saying that's the case. There's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors that we don't know about, right? But in regards to this, here's some of the highlights from it. For one, transformative crypto bill. Did we not talk about a lot of things that were going to happen in regards to Japan and how it's going to affect other areas of the world, right? Other continents like Europe, for crying out loud, European Union, how it's going to affect us in regards to our regulatory framework here in the United States. But that new law will allow startups to raise funds via digital assets. Japan's decision to empower, yes, that's right, empower startups could significantly impact the country's digital asset market. Now, when we get to the end of this outline for tonight, we're going to tie in some things that were brought to our attention from Minalagwar in regards to key players of patents. Now, you may get tired of the whole idea of Kazumasa Sato in patents, and you feel as though I'm just trying to get something more juicy to make a nice video. That's not the case. It's going to be another key person that we recently talked about that brings a lot to the table in regards to patents as well. Jasmy is full of people with lots of different talents and skill sets. Japan's fascination with the crypto industry is rapidly evolving as its government embraces the technology by pushing a series of crypto-friendly laws to propel it towards new heights. Demonstrating its commitment to advancing the crypto sector, Japan has greenlighted yet another groundbreaking law poised to change the crypto landscape, in the region. Okay. Going further down, in a major breakthrough for the crypto landscape, the Japanese government has announced permitting startups and businesses to raise funds by issuing crypto assets instead of traditional stocks. Now, earlier, you saw in the comments, Salamander, BlackRock, XRP. We have talked about this concept that maybe some people just think you're just talking about this because you talk about Jasmy a lot, Max. No, that's not the case. I've presented numerous times that I felt as though Jasmy and Japan could be the one to get us to the promised land first. This is another example of why I state that. So, getting more into this, reflecting Japan's newfound interest in the digital asset space, the new system could have significant implications for the digital currency market in Japan. For instance, startups in the country can now receive investment in the form of crypto assets under the updated investment business limited partnerships framework. And again, when we get to the end of the outline, you'll have a better idea of how even the bigwigs from Jasmy were able to qualify for grants and, if anything, bring their patents to the table. All right, pay attention to that. Stick around for that segment. This new transformative law is expected to substantially expand the pool of potential investors in the country and attract more diverse range of stakeholders. The decision could also boost demand, and listen to this, for digital assets in Japan. Now, we understand that some people feel as though there's other digital assets in Japan. Yes, absolutely. But who was the first to be regulatory compliant in just that, in Japan? For people who say Jasmy is a scam, Jasmy scam, right? It's something that's popular that we say around here nowadays. If it's such a scam, then how come they, at every turn of the table, whether it's through the FSA, the JVCEA, and other big players, recognize them as, hey, you know what? Check mark. You guys meet all the requirements for being regulatory compliant. I saw one guy say, well, of course they are regulatory compliant. It's just an ERC20 token. And as the ERC20 token, but you can't talk about what they're going to be in the future. Give me a break, man. Look more into it yourself. All right. On the flip side, Japan's Financial Services Agency, we just talked about, FSA, recently proposed an amendment for the tax code. And of course, we've been studying that and researching that for a while. But it's to exempt domestic companies from the unrealized gains tax on digital assets. Going more into this, despite piling lawsuits, Binance has been working overtime to expand its offerings in Japan. Just because we don't like CZ Binance, right, and so on, right? Some of you guys still do, right? Got to recognize he's a businessman, and he's going to get into places that he feels as though it's the best opportunity. Why wouldn't he get into Japan for everything we just recently outlined? Now, like it says, why does this matter, and why should it matter to you? Japan has yet to catch up to other jurisdictions regulating or embracing cryptocurrencies. However, the new law and proposed tax cuts could reshape the crypto landscape in the country and the region. Now, even from the perspective of Mr. Elon Musk, right, somebody who drastically cuts overhead, drastically, goes to measures of sleeping at the Twitter headquarters, for crying out loud. And he's done it in the past with Tesla and other things. Wherever he can cut costs to save his company, he's going to do it. Let that be another key takeaway for tonight's outline. Now, I want to jump into this. And of course, this comes from Twitter. But the point is, for those of you guys who may have been new to Jasmy and have forgotten, you got to come back full circle to the idea of Bijit. So for one, Bijit, Jasmy, and Nagano University's leader, who is Kunitake Ando, like it says, it's his legacy to lead Japan and possibly us to the future promised land. I guess some people kind of take what I say too, right? The promise. Sony believes in him, so does this guy, so do I, right? Of course, people give Kunitake Ando criticism. The guy is like in his late 80s, last I checked. He's not going to be able to come to AMAs and all that stuff all the time. He hires people to do that for him, guys like Hara. But of course, Jasmy will get a lot of criticism for that. Getting more into this, I want to pull up some other key things. And this is good research. We're going to give you about roughly, 5 or 6 different links. In my notes, here's something I want to bring up to your attention. Okay? And that is this whole thing about Elon Musk and all of the news and complaints that have been around him for a while now, ever since he acquired Twitter. And one of the big things was, how is Elon Musk going to have to figure out how to protect Japanese and European Union personal data? Right, true. Or will he be forced to exit Japan? And how does that go for like Tesla, SpaceX, the X platform? Japan, as we know, has pretty strict data regulations, and the grace period for corporations to comply is doing what is going to end soon. So when we paid attention, and I'm going to show you another screen here in a bit. When we paid attention to the whole concept of, why is Elon Musk going to Japan? A lot of people, they shared their thoughts of it. Mainstream news shared some of the things. But just because he goes over there for one main reason doesn't mean that he couldn't be going there for other reasons that we may not know about. This thing that was outlined in regards to Google, pay attention to that. We're going to jump more into what we have for you guys tonight. So I'm going to share this. And this is going to, again, present some, I don't know, information where you can draw your own conclusion. But back a while ago, right, straight from ABC News, excuse me, there was this, and it states senators warn Twitter Elon Musk over alleged disregard for what? Data privacy. A lot of times, we were just like, hey, forget this lady, right? And so on. But like, did you see some of this stuff? Did you see some of that mainstream news? I mean, a lot of us pay attention to the community-driven news. So yeah, his disregard for data privacy. I don't think he has disregard for data privacy. I think he just knows a heck of a lot more compared to what she thinks. I mean, obviously, because she has a lot of disregard when it comes to blockchain, DLT. The notice came after the reported resignation of two data security executives. When was this? Back in June. Okay. Were you aware of that? Of course, a group of senators went after him publicly on Twitter in regards to data security and privacy. There was mass layoffs. We know about that, right? We remember the history behind it, like everything that happened here. It says Mr. Musk's behavior reveals an apparent indifference towards Twitter's longstanding legal obligations, which did not disappear when Mr. Musk took over the company, the senator said in the letter. Well, boo-hoo on her, right? Regardless of his personal wealth, Mr. Musk is not exempt from the law, and neither is the company he purchased. I mean, of course, go more into this. But getting more into it, I read more about it, and I thought to myself, was the time he went to Japan, is that really worth pointing out? And I think it really, really is. For one, straight from the Japan Times. Let's jump into this one as well. This was August 18th. And it stated that, a few things, I should say. For one, it said that when he arrived in Japan as an Elon Musk for an unexpected visit back in, August, late August, his first public trip to Japan basically since 2014. Okay, that is significant. That's 9 years. Musk posted on his social media platform X that he just arrived in amazing Japan, adding 2 Japanese flag emojis. The purpose of his trip is not yet clear. Think about this for a second. All right, I'm not saying I know some exclusive news, but again, I'm going to show you a few different sources for you to draw your own conclusion about this. So yeah, trip is not clear, but the space-loving billionaire later posts a series of video clips of the Team Lab Planet's art installation in Tokyo. Goes further down to mention that the details of Musk's travel was not made public, but he has various business interests in Japan. Now again, rewind to where we were originally at with this outline, okay? And of course, this big thing about is there really something in regards to Google and Jasmy? You better believe at the end of the video, I'll just pound it home that much more. So yes, the country is the second largest market for X. This guy, he's got a data analytics team, right? I would imagine he does. Any darn billionaire has to, okay? They point out some key things about this. So yes, second largest market after the United States. The social media platform gained traction in Japan after the massive earthquake and tsunami in March of 2011, proving itself to be useful to the way we share information quickly on disaster damage and relief efforts. Excuse me. But yes, after the mass staff firings in the wake of Musk's takeover of Twitter, now known as X, October last year, users have expressed concern about X's reliability, clouding its future in Japan. A number of prefectures that previously used the platform to post disaster warnings have sought to use other means of communication, including official websites and the messaging app Line. Now, that was another thing that we covered in the past. And of course, I did a whole deep dive about Line. And again, in the past, in regards to some things we obviously cover here, Right. Absolutely. So remember when we talked about Line and we talked about that Jasmy connection? So there's that. So again, if you're wondering, am I going to provide you anything solid? That should be something solid. And you can still use that as a point of reference if you're the type of person to nerd this stuff out. A lot of times you guys don't want to do that. You just want the news, and I understand that. I could totally relate. But look at this a little bit more. And again, from the Japan Times, last year it was widely reported that Musk had called the platform more Japan-centric than US-centric during a staff meeting. That's worth pointing out. As we get further down into a little bit more about this, it goes on to mentioning that, let's see here. Yes, in June, Defense Minister Yasukaza Hamada revealed that the Self-Defense Force have been testing Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet service, which has been quietly growing in the Asia-Pacific region. Musk's interest in Japan is not only limited to business, he's also a fan of the anime Ghost in the Shell, some of these other things. But your key takeaway should be, why did he go there? And is it because he wanted to find more information from top industry leaders or government or people that are basically, like I mentioned before, industry leaders, such as like somebody like maybe Jasmy, right? That gets the whole concept of respecting personal data. That should be one of your key takeaways once again. Now look at this. To give it, a little bit more substance to this outline. This comes from TechCrunch.com 2022 edition, but listen to this. This is late 2022. Again, I really want to pound this home. I don't want to just give you one link. I want you to draw your own conclusion about this. So reports of Musk forcing tracking ads on Twitter put him on a costly collision course, of course, like it says, with EU privacy laws. Let me turn this thing down real quick. So EU privacy laws. What have we learned the last few months in regards to following everything about Taro Kono? He literally, Taro Kono from Japan went to the European Union to talk about what? Privacy laws. Funny how that works out, right? So again, when was this though? December 14, 2022. But again, a reference back to Elon Musk. So, Twitter's lead privacy regulator in the European Union is being kept very busy indeed by Elon Musk's erratic piloting of the Bird site. Call it what you want, right? I'm not getting into that. But this part about ads is worth, something that you want to pay attention to. So, following a report by Platform which suggests Musk is planning to force users to accept personalized advertising unless they pay for a subscription service, which, as we know, is Twitter Blue. I'm using it as well. This is going to do all sorts of things. Like it says, the Irish Data Protection Commission told us is reviewing the matter. This adds to a growing pile of data protection concerns piling up on his desk. So again, the reason why I show you guys some of the old links and different references and so on, I want you to establish, I'm trying to help you establish like a case for it here, right? For why he went to Japan. I just want you to, think outside the box, right? That's something we always do here. Think outside the box, draw the connections and so on. So I do think that since, if I'm Elon Musk and I am literally getting, a pile of this paperwork stacking up on here, it's like, when do I address the ongoing concern? You know what I mean? We showed you different time frames, different sources, different links, and so on. So it says, let's call these the real Twitter files. All right. Musk providing access to Twitter systems to non-staff reporters, all this stuff. But again, it leads all back to data protection, data privacy, data. And as we know, with what we've been studying and researching in regards to Jasmy, you better believe they stand ahead of the pack when it comes to data privacy and respecting those laws by being regulatory compliant and having connections to key, decision makers like who? Genki Oda, right? You know where I've gone with this, right? I think maybe people are tired of hearing me talk about Genki Oda. I don't know. But like it says, this whole part of the streamlined situation with the DPC leading oversight of its compliance with the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, aka the GDPR. And remember, we talked about GDPR for a while now. And this is regards to whether Twitter has adequate compliance staff and appropriate resources. So again, back to the whole thing about compliance. Your staff here in the United States might not know data compliance at all. Who better to train that staff? again, do you want to go to where they know this stuff like the back of their head? Why wouldn't you go to Japan? And you know what? Something that is not going to be reported from mainstream news is what? They're just going to report Elon Musk going. They're not going to report, oh, he brought his whole staff, because maybe the staff always goes with him, period. All right? Just think outside the box. Let's get more into this. Yeah, he said, he took an axe to the company, right? Twitter's lead EU watchdog for data protection has fresh questions for Musk. So he has to be regulatory compliant, not just, of course, in the United States and so on, but this is Twitter. This is, the World Wide Web. You have to be compliant in all jurisdictions or all over the world, especially in areas where everyone's using your platform. Are we oblivious to think that, the United States and Japan's the only platforms? There's Canada, there's obviously other countries all over Europe. So, yes, he has to realize that he has to take hold of the problem by understanding what the problem is. Now, jumping into the next part. Look at this. The top here. The amount of data, and this comes from Insider. We've referenced Insider before. Let me just double check on it. I'm still here with you guys because I see some connection problems. Excuse me. So, yes, Insider. We referenced them, like I said, many times before. This was originally sourced from April 17, 2022. But this is good stuff. The amount of data Elon Musk would have access to if he privatized Twitter cannot be compared to anything that has ever existed. Let's see here. Researcher, this is good stuff. These are some highlights. Researchers said that one person controlling Twitter would be incompatible with democracy. Again, what's Jasmy all about, right? Data democracy. I mean, sometimes the words are literally right in your face, right? Unregulated data collection means the social media industry holds sway over real world events. This is a disaster, and it's not only about Elon Musk, but he kind of puts it on steroids, it says. Of course, there's this whole thing about it, and so I'm not going to get into all of it, but I'm going to jump down to this part, actually. Let's see here. Social media platforms can influence public opinion and lead to changed behaviors. Yes. This lady said that people in control of the sites hold tremendous amount of power. Absolutely. I think Elon Musk is to the point where he's so rich, he's passionate about certain things, right? Putting that power in the hands of a single person, she said, would be incompatible with what? Democracy. Or in this case, in Japan, data democratization. There are simply no checks and balances from any internal or external force, is what this person told the Washington Post in regards back to Elon Musk and Twitter. This is a disaster, and it's not only about Elon Musk, but he kind of puts it on steroids. So yes, it's like him not recognizing that, look, you have a big social media platform. Are you going to be just like the likes of Meta? Are you going to be just like the likes of some of these other platforms and so on, as just centralize the data? Or are you actually going to recognize the new era that we're going to enter into? Yes, that's my answer. Yes, he does recognize that. How does he recognize it? You already see it literally before your eyes. Are we forgetting that literally X is something that he developed since, I guess, the late 90s, right? We went back into the Wayback Time Machine. Do it yourself, right? It basically shows his vision to make the X platform, a payment rail platform. This is where I even saw like Crypto Hulk. He put out a thing. It mentioned that is it very well possible that Elon Musk was like, a pioneer of, cryptocurrency or the concepts of cryptocurrency. Maybe, maybe not, right? But when you go back into that, X.com Wayback Time Machine, you see some of the things mentioned there. It makes you wonder, right? So is this something solid? That's what I want to know from you guys. And I think that he does recognize that, look, the next big wave of what we're entering into, the next era, is definitely Web3. You have seen reports of even Google recognizing that, look, even though they're a top centralized entity, it is going to get to the point where they even have to recognize innovative technologies in the world and so on, or they will get left behind too. So is Elon Musk going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to get left behind with this? No, absolutely not. He's going to recognize that, hey, I need to meet up with the industry leaders that really get this stuff. And for you, for a Jasmy holder, if that is the case and this ends up being confirmed, when we talk about that risk to reward ratio, that would be massive. Absolutely, completely massive. Now, partnerships, yes, can raise the price of certain cryptocurrencies and so on. We know that. But will it necessarily cause things to go parabolic? Not necessarily, right? Especially in a bear market. But you better believe we're not going to dismiss Google. Now, just a little bit more, because I always say I always got a little bit more. But I always try to bring as much as I can to this. This comes from USA Today. And what's important is, again, multiple outlets recognizing the problem in regards to Twitter or X platform and data. All right. So look what's shared here. Okay. Musk's Twitter takeover raises more questions than answers about data privacy. So, I mean, at every single turn of the table, basically speaking, you do see this whole thing of, you know, the data privacy problem and how he needs to recognize it. If you have multiple outlets literally talking about this all the time, and you have a team of people saying, hey, look, we're, you know, hey, are we trending? Yeah, we're trending, but trending in a bad light. You know, you need Mr. Musk to address this data privacy concern you have. And it's not just, you know, in regards to the United States in the future, it's these other platforms. You know, Mr. Musk, Japan is your second largest market. Okay, why is that a big deal? You know, I'm just saying, you know, pretend you're Elon Musk. Well, sir, it's a big deal because that is an area where they're all about data compliance and so on, right? Well, what's this thing, DFFT? Well, let me educate you on it. All right, he starts reading up about it and so on. You better believe he reads up on all this stuff. This guy's like one of the smartest, richest people in the world. I'm just saying, think about it. I honestly think he went over to there for more than, you know, what the mainstream media might think it is. Because as we know, the mainstream media, they only report on certain things like the mainstream stuff, right? Are they really going to report on Jasmy, something they don't even know about and so on? I'm just saying, look at the whole thing outside the box, right? So there's a little thing here, and, you know, Musk plans to turn Twitter into an everything app. We already saw that, right? And again, the Wayback Time Machine basically shows that. But look what it says also in regards to the everything app. Have one concern top of mind: data privacy. Data privacy. Japan. Right, you know, regulations, regulatory compliance. Interesting. So, I mean, are we really going to be naive? I'm just saying that there is no possibility that, you know, this company that is at the forefront of regulatory compliance is there. Because, I mean, my thing is this: if this guy knows about Dogecoin and promotes Dogecoin, which he has, right? He probably still is. So he knows about that, right? Which would start off as a joke. You're trying to tell me he goes all the way over to Japan, when it's all about this stuff about data privacy and compliance and so on, and nobody at any point says to him, you know, Mr. Musk, there's this company named Jasmy, right? They specialize in personal data management. They have this thing called personal data locker. And oh, by the way, the reason why I'm bringing this to you, sir, is because they were the first to become regulatory compliant in Japan. And oh, by the way, they have a great thing going on. You know, for instance, with this company called Bajit, they have a key partnership with Google. On top of that, they have you know, this guy that they're connected to, Genki Oda. Oh, I've heard of Genki Oda. Yes, sir, absolutely. Oh, yeah, isn't that guy? He's a chairman of SBI Japan. Yes, that's the guy. Isn't he the guy also responsible back in, you know, 2016 of blanketing all of Japan with a bunch of Bitcoin, Bitcoin BTC ATMs? Yes, that's the same guy. Oh, says here that he is part of JVCEA as a decision maker. Yes. Give me a meeting with these Jasmy people. I'm just saying, like, I mean, we don't obviously know this for sure. I don't know this for sure, But I am looking at it from perspective. If I had a position like that, I would want to first talk about who are these people that were the first to be regulatory compliant and who are the ones that literally lead the charge for simply that personal data management. All right, we talked about Bijit, okay? Have you forgotten about Bijit? Because you want to know something? I think we have. And going over to here, we do see that the Bijit site has been updated. So what is this? Well, like it says, a global IT consulting leader. Now, if you're brand new to all this, this is good for you. For all the people who've been following Jasmy for a while, you already know about Bijit. Bijit has grown as a global organization of 750 plus engineers and developers as a trusted IT partner for value clients such as Google, Panasonic, Sony, and many more. Getting more into this, it says that they specialize at providing IT solutions to global industries. 750 plus skilled engineers and developers working in offshore and onshore and nearshore teams. Getting to the About page, let's take it right now, because I'm not going to get you through the whole Bijit site, because many of you guys have been there. Kazumasa Sato. He's part of what? The leadership team. Have people forgotten about this? Maybe you're brand new to this. Welcome. Glad to have you. But look at this. Kazumasa Sato, Board of Director, Chairman of Bijit, Inc. And, I don't have the image ready, but at least we showed you the whole thing in regards to Google, right? They used to have an image of Google, but literally says Google. So my thing is, all these countries they're part of, some of these achievements, serving over 50 Fortune 500 companies, 21 years in the business. Bijit believes in respecting, embracing what? Cross-cultural and cross-linguistic diversity, clients from different countries such as Japan, Europe, the United States. So they're a big deal, and they've always been a big deal. And, the way I look at it is, even this, right? Silicon Valley, we understand that they recently got that, or I should say recently got the office. They had the office. That's another deep dive episode, all right, when we talked about that before. But I think all of this is a big deal. And in closing, just to kind of put the icing on the cake, because we did talk about the whole thing of Google and all this stuff. Back to Menon Laguar, all right? This is a follow-up. He loved my explanation of what? Sony Society 5.0, Felica, all that stuff. We talked about Tadashi Morita's Felica. So back to the beginning of the outline. Yes, that guy. Like it says, Jasmy's true plug to Society 5.0. Special shout out to NeoX Tricks as well as Menon Laguar. But he's got some good information, like he says, to add. Did you know, like he says, my friend, that Morita is one of the inventors of Felica and inventor of DC microgrid tech. He is one of the not talk telecom geniuses. And here's some proof in regards to the patents that he's worked on. It's 200 plus patents, and he's leaded the groups. And of course, I said this is a nice outline. I want to share it with you guys. We always share the many patents of some of these key players from Jasmy, right? Kazumasa Sato especially. But what about this guy, Morita? So for one, from Justia Patents is the reference. Just in case you're like, can you give me a reference? That's where it's from. Power path information generation device method for generating power path information in computer program. Abstract, a system that acquires information indicating a variation in voltage corresponding to each of a plurality of nodes connected to a direct current DC line and identifies topology of the plurality of nodes connected to the DC line based on the acquired information indicating the variation in voltage corresponding to each of the plurality nodes. Sounds like I just read it over and over. But the key thing is, where does it show the original time it was applied for? September 30th, 2015. When was the publication date? July 20th, 2017. Who was the applicant? Sony Corporation. And who was the inventor? Tadashi Morita. Who is Tadashi Morita? He's part of the Jasmy executive team, the leadership team over at Jasmy. So again, pounding it home that much more, that Sony connection. Another thing I want to show you. This other one, right? Again, it's just a similar thing, right? Sony Corporation, Tadashi Morita. You see it all right there. Data patent, a little bit more recent, October 29th of 2019. So there is that. right? And we could get more and more into this all the time. But again, I want you to pay attention to this part because at the very beginning of the outline, we talked about the concept of grants, right? That's why we, Mike Cornwell retweeted that whole thing about Japan and, some of these incentives and so on. So who would be a great example of grants and acting upon grants? Well, obviously Jasmy, but also we see Jasmy has grants for building up their own ecosystem. So look at this. All right. This was all the way back in 1992. All right. Now it seems like a long time, but the point is what you see here that Mr. Morita is also part of those inventors that came up with, these grants. What grant was this? It was to have a vessel, a smooth muscle relaxation activity, as well as, I don't know, it's this other stuff, right? That I don't really quite understand, but they're always, a grant was provided and these guys, invented something. Again, these guys are always doing something for the future societies and so on. Even though these patents date way back, it's well pointing. Excuse me. I'm glad to point out to you, right? It's worth drawing your attention to. And again, it's just grant after grant after grant. And again, Tadashi Morita. I mean, this date. I mean, even how about something recent? 2012 was when it filed. Who's the signee? Sony Corporation. Data patent, 2016. Originally filed 2012. Again, takes time to get stuff done. How about this other one? Tadashi Morita, Sony Corporation. Again, back to that DC line. So, I mean, there's countless examples of this guy coming up with inventions and in response to grants. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Draw your own conclusion. I think there might be something in regards to all of this, especially when it comes to the Google connection. Google is moving more into the path of recognizing decentralization and so on. They have to. They don't want to be like, AOL, Time Warner, and so on. If you're not innovative, you are going to get swallowed up. Right. Recognize all these guys, what they're tied into, connect the dots. That's something that we do here all the time. And with that said, that concludes our coverage for Jasmy tonight for you. Quite the outline. Let me know what you think in that regard. Did Elon Musk truly go over to Japan just because he wanted to visit there and it's kind of a cool place to go? I don't think so. He wasn't there for 9 years. There's a reason why. He has to address the data privacy problems he has. Who better to do it than the industry leaders that have been doing it for a while, and especially where they're trying to take their company to the next level. And I think the Jasmy, Google, Elon Musk connection could be something solid. Do you think it's real, or do you think this is just a giant nothing burger? It's okay. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to kick it back to the next part of the coverage. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Please smash that like. And let's see, I'm sure I'm pretty far behind because that was a while, but 7:38 my time. And I'm going to get back into the comments. So let's see here. Corey B-Base says, Max, is Chainlink the only known blockchain working with Swift currently? Officially speaking, yes. Unofficially, you better believe there's enough connections to show that there's other ones. Like, for instance, Quant, right? And I showed you guys some of that in the past. You literally seen on video, but not officially in words in an article in regards to the Quant connection. Especially when you literally hear both Martin Hargreaves and Gilbert Verdian in an interview, I believe, with Andrew Carrier from Sibos. I think it was last year's Sibos or maybe the year before that, saying, hey, we've been talking to Swift and numerous numerous times they literally mention talking to Swift, and you think it's going to be like an actual real thing, but people of course want to see something where it's official. And in my example that I use, I'm going to put out the video later. It's not out right now. The name of the video is going to be called Understanding Utility, and there's a little segment about Chainlink, and in that segment it talks specifically about look at Look at Chainlink, right? They have official partnership with Swift. You didn't see the price go parabolic. So again, I think that pounds home the whole narrative of, partnerships is not necessarily utility in motion. Partnerships definitely help, you know, like Tokenizer said, flavor up the burger, if you will, right? Like bring out all the juices, right? Bring out all the juices is still not utility in motion. Um, utility in motion is eating burger, right? Nah, I'm kidding. That's a bad thing to say, but you get where I'm going with that. But yeah, I would say that that's accurate, currently speaking. All right, going further down into some more comments. Maddie B, welcome. Glad to have you here, man. Here's a dab. Oh, you're talking to Corey. My bad. Well, I thought I'd at least welcome you. Corey B says, I do like the analysts, the analysis analytics. I can't talk tonight. Anyway, or investor play. Yeah, they're really good. They're really, really good. And Luke Lango, for instance, I mean, even before he got into crypto, I mean, he's been the whole stock thing, and he's got a robust background, being one of the top, was he the top 20 at one point, like 2 or 3 years in a row? It was a while back, but I think a lot of his focus now is on crypto, maybe a little bit of both. All right. Wild West. Yeah, James West. I'm thinking of, there's two versions, right? There's the movie, which I didn't even bother seeing the movie because I just was like, I don't know, it looked kind of cheesy to me, but hold on a second. My keyboard went out. That's weird. Let me fix that real quick. All right. But yeah, the original TV show with Robert Conrad was pretty good. All right, let's go further down. Yep, Robert Conrad, blah, Black Sheep. This is a shame that show got canceled. I would have loved to seen multiple seasons of that. That would have been great. All right. Love those shows. Conrad was the coolest. Yeah, he played a really cool Pappy Boynton, right? But of course, it wasn't historically accurate. And of course, the original Black Sheep Squadron said it wasn't. But, it is what it is. It was entertaining. All right, let's see here. How about this, right? It's not like Inglourious Basterds is historically accurate either, right? Totally not. But it was a fun movie. All right, Brian Riley. Ondo has a long history of collaboration with Elon Musk. Ondo and Musk. Excuse me. Hold on. Ondo and Musk have met several times in the past and have expressed mutual respect for each other's work. Well, to be honest, I didn't know that. I don't know everything, and that's awesome. I wish I would know that. I probably would include that on the outline. I don't know. Maybe I can just add a little thing to it or something to make it that much better. So thank you for that, Brian Riley. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past that. Come on. He met up with Steve Jobs. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So cool stuff. Let me get another sip off of this because my ice melted and it just tastes really watered down right now. Hold on. And Mr. Squidward, Edward Vincent, said basically that I need to drink more pineapple juice, especially with asthma. And that's what I'm doing. All right. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're at 49 likes. And let's see here. Kylo says, wow, that would be revolutionary if Japan permitted that. First globally, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yo, MC Max. I need to get you that. I know. Don't think I have forgotten. It was a busy day today. But I'm thinking maybe after the show I can get it to you. And I'll just, if anything, I'll probably, what do you want? You want an email to you or do you just want me to send it over Twitter? I don't know how I can send it over Twitter, but I'll get that over to you. All right. But glad to have you here, Mr. Henry Brown. And let's see here. Let's also welcome Mr. OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta. Glad to have you here, Mr. Big OG. All right. Max, you get that PayPal or Cash App working? I have PayPal. I don't have the Cash App yet. I know I need to get the Cash App, but I do have PayPal. I've had PayPal for, oh my gosh, I probably had PayPal for over 20 years or more. All right. You got to be issuing me X and Jasmy. I honestly think it could be a thing. I'm not saying, here's the thing, guys. if I knew 100% sure, right? Think about this, right? If I knew 100% sure, okay, I would, oh my gosh, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm already 78,000 reinvested in crypto. I guess that only left me like a little bit left after, technically I was 110,000 in profit, right? I guess I just say, you know what, to hell with my life savings and stuff like that. Let's just go all out Jasmy. I mean, I'm not financial advice, right? I'm not going to tell you guys to do that, but if it was like that, I'll be like, yeah, but no, I'm not going to do that. All right. I mean, I have my goals. You guys know some of my goals. And the way I look at it is like, I'm looking at the prices and so on. I'm saying to myself, hey, maybe now really is the time to still DCA. Is it cheaper than some of the other times that we've gotten into Jasmy? No, like the cheapest of the cheap was, 0.2029 or 28, right? Second lowest was 3.2. It's still a buy, right? I mean, we're just talking a few dollars difference. Excuse me. So I'm not. I'm just saying I don't know for sure. Again, there are so many things to say. Come on, man, guys. Look at all those outlets. Look at all those news outlets. So it's a problem. I honestly think he went there to address that problem. If I was working for Elon Musk, I'd be like, look, I'm coming in here all the time. Whether it's real paperwork, who knows? Maybe it's not. And he's got this giant desk, and it's just like it says, this is piling up. Like, look, this is a concern you got. Data privacy laws. We are not in compliance at all. All right. Japan is our number 2 biggest market for Twitter. All right. Introduce me to who I need to meet up with. Well, like Brian Riley was saying, well, sir, you did meet up with you have an old friend from a long time ago. His name is Kuntaki Ando. Oh, yeah, Ando. I remember him. Well, he's aged about, 15 years since you last seen him. Well, give me something set up with that. I'm just saying, I mean, you never know. And you better believe, like, there's some other things. I can't share it tonight, but I saw some other things of recent development. So Jasmy got real quiet, and I even pointed this out to, I think, Jesse in a KIR Finance in a DM. I guess tell you guys all what the DM said because I'm not allowed to. But anyway, it was a concerning question I had. He gave me a response back. But the point was, like I was pointing out to him, was like XDC. It's like there's something to be said about projects that work in the background during bear markets that go quiet. Most people will FUD it. People who have been in this crypto investment game for a while, they don't FUD it. They know that there's something going on. If it's a solid project with real utility, something's going on. And I said that to myself for the last few months, especially when it came to Jasmy or this last month, when things are getting a little bit quiet, and I said to myself, they got to be doing something. And now some new things came out, not what we talked about on the show tonight. Like maybe we'll get into that tomorrow. But yeah, you see new partnerships pop up and so on out of the blue. Again, guys, like there's countless examples, not just Jasmy, XDC, and so on, where a project that's solid gets quiet and boom, you start seeing those things. So, I mean, again, it's somebody that's brand new to all this, they don't see it because it's not been part of their crypto journey. For you guys that have been in this for even just a year or 2 years or more, you know what I'm talking about. All right. And that's no bash on new people. Everybody's new at some point. I don't care who you are. You're new to something at some point. All right. Henry Brown, Max, can you name or list ways to support the channel and the community for those that don't know? Can I name list ways to support the channel? Well, we are not a sponsored channel, as you guys know. Sorry, this chair is driving me crazy. I think somebody sat in it and messed up the back of it. Anyway, there's multiple ways. So yeah, we're not a sponsored channel. One of the ways, obviously, is just hitting the like. Right? I know I said a lot. Sharing the link to YouTube, for instance, just getting it out there. When you see me post on Twitter X, getting it out there. If you don't use Twitter, just simply clicking on the link and then send it to people that you think might be interested in blockchain and DLT and stuff like that. That definitely helps. That thing on to the right where it's got those little emoji hearts or whatever, constantly hitting that, believe it or not, helps. If you're on Crypto X, right, formerly known as Twitter, retweeting the show, sharing it, and so on, but giving your reasons for why you're doing that. I'm not just trying to have a bunch of people blindly doing that because, for no reason. I mean, obviously the reason is because we bring value as not just me, but our community to people, and letting them know about, the future monetary system and so on, like blockchain, distributed ledger technologies and so on. Like, what's it all tied into? Why does it matter? Why this is truly the future? Why 99% of people just don't know about this stuff still, the mainstream, and drawing the connections, connecting the dots, doing the research day in, day out. Even when I'm not here with you guys on the weekend, you guys still do it too. Henry especially does it. He's tweeting every single day about this project, that project, and so on. So when I say that we are a community of blockchain and DLT research enthusiasts, it means just that. We're excited about all this stuff for a reason, because we know that, better times are ahead if we made the right investments. While none of this is, financial advice for me to tell you to go out and buy whatever, in reality, a lot of you guys have already done that. I know that, I'm not saying because you did it because of me. Some people told me they have done it because of me. I am not a big time content creator, influencer, and so on, but I'm not a monetized channel. I'm trying to get to that point. All I'm saying is I'm going to talk about crypto. I'm going to talk about all this stuff, blockchain and DLT. I'm going to do the research just like you guys are. And I'm glad to do it. I want to help people, for real. I really do, and if this is the way I can help people be educated about things and whatnot, then I'm going to do that. It's a little bit more of my background. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm a former teacher. We have other people here that are, current teachers like Sobo, right? It's an awesome thing. We're here for a reason. It's not just because we want to achieve financial freedom for ourselves and so on, but we also want to help other members of our community achieve that. It may not seem like it currently. You're not going to be rich tomorrow or today, but you're going to be at some point. I really honestly believe it's towards the end of 2025. I think I've been pretty consistent about that. As far as like massive generational wealth, I mean, 2030 is a different story in itself. But anyway, I don't really know what else to add to that. If I missed something, maybe you could help me out with that. But I honestly mean, I love the community we have here. We have some great reports. I mean, channel's growing real fast. I mean, right now, currently speaking, we're at 912. I need 1,000 subscribers to qualify for like a big milestone, but I need to get my watch hours up. I think last I saw was like at 1,600 watch hours. I need at least 3,000 watch hours to qualify for memberships, stuff like that. But in reality, I mean, yeah, it's nice to have memberships, but I'm not going to, constantly tell people to get memberships. In fact, even on the last platform, the last channel and so on, I never said, hey, you guys have to get memberships or anything. You guys just went ahead and did it, right? So I think I made the point that I don't really try to show that in people's faces. Wasn't able to really provide any sense of value, I guess you could say, for those memberships. Maybe in the future I'll try to do that, but I think people just still recognize that they appreciate the content and they want to, I guess you say have a membership as a thank you, and I do appreciate that. I mean, that would probably be the first. I should say probably it will be the first milestone towards that path towards monetization. The next milestone is 4,000 watch hours. So to get membership status is 3,000. So I mean, I'll probably get to that maybe in a couple weeks, And then as far as full monetization, I mean, the way the channel's growing, I would say probably no more than like 3 to 4 weeks, and it's going to be pretty cool. And, but yeah, I have given it a thought. I do want to, I guess you could say, kind of give you guys an extra layer of value for memberships and stuff like that, but we'll see what happens with it. No guarantees. But thank you for the question, Mr. Henry Brown. All right, OG Crypto. I think he's trying to push his own agenda through X AI. Huh. Yeah, it's totally interesting, isn't it? I mean, I'm just looking at it from some of those perspectives. I mean, sometimes a lot of people dismiss a lot of different projects, and then boom, you see things. I mean, shout out to what's his name, Jose, the deacon, the Jasmy deacon. You know what he shared on our Twitter space, right? He was talking about Ton. I think it was not Ton. It was Telcoin, and you know, he got into it. I think back in, I don't know, maybe 2020 or before that. So it was like at 6 zeros. You know, he bought something like, I think, $3,000 worth, and then um, I guess it was, you know, like a bearish time. His $3,000 investment went all the way down to $200. He could have gave into FUD and all that stuff, and he was just like, you know what? I came into crypto to be a buy and holder. Thank God he did. You know, and he was sharing his crypto testimony, if you will, right? And that was, you know, put that into it. 3,000. It might have been higher. I don't know. Don't quote me, right? But whatever the case be, I do remember him saying something like, and then went up to over 300,000. So I was just like, well, based on what you said, my God. And he's like, yeah, man, I saw it literally eat like 6 zeros or something like that. And I was just, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like for me, you know, Shiba Inu burned a 0. That was the most I ever got to see. I could have came into Shiba at 2 zeros, but you know, can you imagine seeing 6 zeros burn? So we have some examples of things going parabolic here in a bit. I know we're about an hour and a half into the show, so there'll be a couple more comments, and we're gonna get into all the other stuff that we have on tonight's outline. So let's get into it here in just a bit. Let's read this from Henry Brown. Coinbase's base beats Ethereum in daily Coinbase's layer 2 scaling solution Base has surpassed Ethereum in terms of daily transaction amount count, according to data from blockchain analytics. That's interesting. Just me not to scum. Yes, that's a good point. All right, let's go further down into just maybe 2 more comments, because I mean, I know I'm pretty behind. I don't think I'm super behind, but I'm behind. All right. I'm not a Jasmy guy. Sorry. It's okay. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's all right. I mean, some of you guys are going to be into this stuff. Some of you aren't. I could talk about, you know, talk about QT until like you get so sick and tired of it. You want to, you know, stuff your ears with, you know, earplugs or something. But some people go for it. Some people don't. At the end of the day, it's not financial advice anyway. People are going to do what they're going to do, and that's okay. All right. Nice render deep dive video, Max. Thank you. Actually was originally from the live show and then chopped it up, but thank you. Appreciate that. I think render's solid. You just got to hold it long enough. All right. All right. I think there's one more comment. So you guys got anything specifically? Abdul Jawad. Jasmy, let's go, Max. Thank you so much, Abdul Jawad. Appreciate your ongoing support, man. Glad to have you. All right, let's get into the next part of what we have for the Monday outline. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to close out some tabs, just kind of help with the memory, I guess you could say. Because sometimes, I think it was like a few days ago or something like that, I left the whole thing on for the chart, and man, I had like the worst memory leak ever. But anyway, it just kind of helps. And not only that, I don't want the screen to get all fuzzy and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into some of this other stuff here in a bit. Just trying to pull up this news. All right, so we're going to pull this up, and it comes straight from Twitter, straight from my particular Twitter. Retweeted quite a few things earlier, right? So let me get, excuse me. All right, so this is going to come straight from my Twitter, and I'm just going to get to a few things on this. So for one, this is pretty cool stuff. We don't talk about ICP all the time, but this is good. This comes from Dr. Jasmy. ICP updated chart after new lows, 934x bull potential. Why am I presenting this to you? I don't necessarily talk about ICP all the time, right? True, that's a good point. But you know, we were talking about the bull market, and you know, there's some that I feel as though are must-haves on my list. ICP, along with Caspa, is some of those must-haves. ICP updated chart after new lows, right? Look at that. That's pretty incredible. Still under $3. What a buy, right? There's a lot of buys. You know, Filecoin, $3 and some change. So I thought I'd throw that out there. I mean, come on. Potential 934x. My God, right? Who's not paying attention to some of this stuff? All right, get a little bit more into what we have. Let's hit the back button on this. So I did retweet that one earlier. There's some ones that stood out today. There's some more Jasmy news. I might get to that. The one I want to talk about right now is a little bit of XDC. And you're going to see me jump back and forth on some of these ones. But this comes from Mr. Man, and he does kind of pop into the show once in a while. It doesn't really stay long, but that's okay. So I want to share this one with you. This is from Mr. Man. Please follow Mr. Man. He's the guy referred to as Spider-Man. He always wears the mask, but the point is, it doesn't matter if he wears a mask or not, right? The point is, he's a great content creator / researcher, right? He always studies and researches, DLT, blockchain, all that stuff. So he says, we don't have much time to get it right. The paraphrase from Greta Thunberg. Oh boy. I'm sorry if you guys are a Greta Thunberg fan. Anyway, from Finastra's perspective, we need to get trade finance digitalized, right? This is good stuff. And the reason why we want to talk about this is because, come on, guys, think about what's happening in the next couple of days. All right. So on Wednesday is a big, big day for all of crypto, but mainly, let's face it, I think XDC, some of the other ones tied into the ecosystem, XSwap, GBEX, one that we recently covered, plugin, right? PLI, but not just XDC. I'm not going to be naive to the fact that it could be VET, could really be doing some things. Morpheus network, anything tied into supply chain, I think is really going to stand out for the 20th. But of course, especially, like I said before, I'm betting on a 3 of 3 for XDC. And, that's the way I look at it. This is a moment of time that I'm not stacking a lot of other things, but I'm stacking some more XDC. Okay. I'm bet on my 3 of 3. Let's go ahead and play this because, like he says, the Finastra perspective, we need to get trade finance, just that, digital. Please smash that like. Thank you so much for being here tonight on a Monday. Here we go.
That's really, really interesting. Ian, I wanted to sort of back this over to you because I know that Finastra, on the one side, you're doing a lot of digital, a lot of your fintech, but you've also got the sort of collaborative ESG program. You've really got the sort of the focus on sustainability of late. How do these two sides marry together, and what kind of response are you getting from the ecosystem?
So I think, the guys in the panel have called out a number of really interesting things. There's the question about the focus that's come on ESG, and I would say E&S, because G's been a focus since I think about 2008, since the financial crash, around about, board visibility, the governance of companies and all of that. And it really has taken the focus. And really in the last couple of years, the E&S has come to the fore, along with the sustainability part around about that. But to Marissa's point, we don't really have that much time to get it right, we don't have very much time to paraphrase Greta to blah, blah, blah. We need to get on and actually deliver that. So I think from Finastra's perspective, we've always pushed, or Simon and the company push open by default. So for us, it's looking to bring together the required parties, the required data. I mean, digitalization spans trade end to end. It's not just ESG. It's everything we want to do in regards to trying to take away. I thought our title was interesting when I saw the word paper, and I'm just saying, no, paper, no, it has to be digitalized. It has to be open. It has to be, we need to get away from little data islands. And we talked about this before in other webinars around about how do we bring it together. So we're seeing lots of interest in regards to how do we make data accessible, and particularly in the ESG part, it's, to Alexander's point, what's your trusted source? If you go and you've got different scales and to use the example he had, one day you're good and the next day you're found out to have, indentured labor, it's like, how can you trust? And a lot of what we do now is, what is the element of trust that we have in the systems, and can I trust what's in front of me? So it's an interesting time, but I think also where Michael called out consumers, I think what we see now is the sort of tripartite of consumers, investors, and regulators. I think that's where you start to see, we will see much more movement around about how we do that. Marissa?
Okay, obviously that's interesting, right? Especially with what's coming up here soon. A little bit more of what we have, because we're on the topic of all this stuff, ISO 222, all this stuff, right? I want to get into this. This comes from Mr. ISO 222. Let's do it, right? Rohitku. And let me pull this up for you as well. And we're kind of jumping around on some of the stuff, but it's good stuff, right? So let's come back into the frame on this one. It says majority of cross-border industries migrated to ISO, right? By Q3 2023. Now, think about this. I always talk about, the end of 2025. Feels as though it's going to be a massive thing. But this whole thing about 2023 always gets mentioned. And some people feel it's like this is the start of blast off. Well, I don't know, right? Draw your own conclusion. Let's pull this up. So for one, we're going to pull this up and make it a little bit more bigger because it's on the topic of interoperability. Obviously, with quant, we always talk about interoperability. So, yeah, let's keep it like right there. And I'll come out with a frame on this one, all right? Because I want you to be able to see it nice and big from your TV or your phone or whatever the heck you're using. So on this one, it says that, there's this whole thing of differing ISO 222 usage guidelines, format specifications. This is some of the things that we've kind of briefly talked about. Let's face it. I mean, we talked about this probably for a good year and a half, message truncating and getting garbled up from point A to point B. So format specifications for cross-border versus market infrastructure payments would further increase complexity and operational risk. With the completion, because this is what's highlighted, of the migration to ISO 222 in the major currencies, we expect the majority of the cross-border industry to have migrated to the new format by Q3 2023. Now, I understand some people are going to say, well, Max, this is where it's all going to happen. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Also understand where I'm coming from. And on this part, I will come back into the frame. So where I'm coming from on this is basically, again, utility in motion. Just because we get things that may seem like almost all fully migrated, it doesn't mean that there's a mandate to use that utility. For me personally, it's the end of 2025. That's the bullish of the bullishness. Like the crazy, not just parabolic times, but like my God, like watch out for all this stuff tied into this. Right? This is why we don't just hold one and one only. Right? We're diversified into all this stuff. So again, migrated over by the end of 2023 is one thing. Mandate is another thing. I'm more of a mandate type of guy because it tells me, all right, you have the tech, you already migrated over. Now, like the saying goes, flip of the switch. You have to flip that switch. Then there's utility in motion. Am I too far off on this? Or are you more one of the guys that's like, no, migrating, you're still going to have some banks and so on. They'll use it. And I get that. And that's good. And you might see that reflective in the market. But, even if you do see it reflective in the market with your Stellars, your XLMs, and so on, okay, you might see some gains, a little bit of some gains, right? Who knows? Maybe it's 30%, 40%. Maybe, instead of XRP sitting at 50 cents, it's over $1. And that's going to be a big deal, especially with, let's face it, at the end of this month, maybe we get a full Ripple victory instead of 2/3 victory, a full victory, right? Combine that with what's going to happen in November. Okay, some big things, right? $1 for some people, they're going to take profits and so on. For me personally, no, I'm not going to do this. Again, XRP is just a long-term hold for me. For me, do what's best for you. You know what I mean? Again, none of it's financial advice, but I am looking at it from that perspective. Like, what is the big, massive things? I think it's just that mandates. I want to start seeing talk of mandates. All right. And then, of course, we're always going to bring you guys this news. But anyway, a little bit more in regards to this. We have another thing that we're going to bring up from ISO GOAT 222. Or not ISO GOAT, ISO 222. Let's do it. There's another guy named ISO GOAT, as you guys know. It's a little confusing sometimes, but that's okay. So there's this. And let's go ahead and show the file. All right. Let's come out of the frame. So this one, it states structured customer data roadmap. What's this all about? Well, back to what we were talking about, right? You have this whole thing of the structured Swift ISO 222 time frame, and that's definitely worth pointing out. So, you know, like that, you know, thing with Swift, it says Swift many-to-many correspondent banking, structured ISO 222, importance of interoperability. All that's definitely worth pointing out. But again, what's highlighted is November 2023, expected completion. I'm just looking from the perspective of introduction of going live is one thing. We saw that March 2023, right? March 20th, 2023. Even with FedNow, for instance, right? The thing is live, but not everybody's using it. Okay. When did we get to the point where you see everybody starting to use this? All right, a little bit more about this. Here we go. Let's pull this one up as well. This is the last part from ISO 222. Let's do it. Let's do it. What's up? This one's a lot bigger, so I still come out of the frame. Put some emphasis on this. Let's talk about this for a brief moment. So as you see here, the benefits. Well, we know the benefits, right? ISO 222, the introduction of structured address information for debtor and creditor and payment messages. You know, this is where you get that expression of, even here in the United States, will XRP, for instance, take on, like, can you imagine them taking on the debt of the United States? If you're new to all this, you think that's crazy talk, but it's not. This is where ODL really shines. But we're not necessarily talking about ODL. We're talking about ISO 222. November 2023, strong recommendation to use structured address also for payments initiated in FIN. Bottom part says, we strongly recommend you to use structured address, as in referring probably to the banks, information and payment messages in real-time gross settlements as of T2 go live in November 2022. Strongly recommended, and actually doing a mandate. You get what I'm saying? This dates back to the whole thing of that delay. As we know, November 2022, everybody was so excited, and there was that delay. Then it got delayed. Does everybody use this now? No, not everybody uses it now. This is not me creating FUD. This is just me just letting you guys know that is not utility in motion, right? Strong recommendation is still not utility in motion. Maybe people don't want me to talk about this. That's just the way I look at it. So again, it's not like this is not going to happen. It's going to happen. But let's look forward to mandates, okay? That's what I want you guys to take away from this as well. All right, we're coming back into the frame. Let's get into this next part of what we have. And let's see here. Let's go back. Give me just a second. All right. This is also, you know, a great find. This comes from Mr. Man. Again, I mean, you're going to see a lot of things back and forth, but the focus is ISO 222, all this stuff. All right, so back to XDC. This is another really good one. I reviewed it earlier. So again, like we're talking about, Electronics Trade Documents Act, right? Going into effect, was it day after tomorrow? All right, check this out. So it states from Mr. Man, Electronic Trade Documents Act comes into power September 20th. After this act, we need to see the Carriage of Goods by Sea Act, which is called COGSA, amended to reflect the digital update. All right. Finally, now we're starting to get into some of that nitty-gritty about the Electronics Trade Documents Act. Now, what about this whole thing with XDC? Well, let it speak for itself. Let's go ahead and play this. This is a minute and a half. Do you still hold XDC? Do you not hold XDC? Do you feel as though you're running out of time for your entry point into XDC? Not financial advice, but if it was me, I feel like I was running out of time. Literally the day after tomorrow. Why would I want to pay maybe not necessarily double, but maybe like 1.5 times more, right? After retracement and so on. I'm just throwing that out there, right? We talk about the accumulation phase. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Smash that like if you haven't done so already, and thanks for being here. Here we go.
Like all of us actually on this call, on this forum, you know, it's pillar 1 and pillar 2. I think we've got to focus on enabling the market, create the environment in which the systems and the technologies and the industries can grow. And so, yes, I think we have the tool. I think that's really important. one of the most exciting initiatives I think right now anywhere in the trade environment is the Digital Standards Initiative in Singapore, because if that is successful, when it's successful, I should say, because it's a huge job, it will start connecting up the digital platforms. It will start connecting up the government to business systems by simply fast tracking the standards that are already in the market so they become universal global standards, and then creating standardized systems where there aren't any in existence. And I go back to what I said at the beginning. If we imagine our consumer world, if you remember the world of Betamax and VHS videos, or Apple and Microsoft kind of systems, when none of them talk to each other, it was horrendous, but it actually got solved pretty quickly in the grand scheme of things. And all we're talking about here is doing the same in the trade environment. So we know it's possible. We just got to keep focused on it, support it, and not try and pick off more than we can chew at any one time. So, I think it's really important we get some quick wins going on.
All right. Obviously, there's a lot more to the interview, but you got the quick gist of that, which is cool. All right. So let's see here. Let's go further down. I mean, I even saw some people are like, this is a nothing burger. What was it? This one guy says, this is nothing but nothing burger. Mr. Man says, you're looking too small. Increase your vision and watch the picture come together. I agree. Yeah. And this other guy says, I'll likely be dead before it amounts to anything. Here's to hoping. I mean, again, like, this is a good example of somebody just didn't do the proper research. I mean, is this guy even aware that, not Mr. Man, but the guy he's talking to, that, we talk about that 2 for 2, the buy the rumor, sell the news. I'm going for 3 for 3. All right. A little bit more in regards to what we have, and then we'll kick it back to the comments for a brief bit. All right. So this is good stuff. I mean, it was Jasmy, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about next go. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right. Because we did a lot about Jasmy already today. All right. A little bit more about something once tied to ISO. This is back again to XDC. This is a different reference. It's the same thing. Never mind. All right, let's see here. I like what Brian Riley has about the Bank of Japan. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. All right, this one's really, really good. Okay, so on this segment, this might just be considered, like a QNT segment. What you see here is got tag XRP, XLM, XDC, Algo, HBAR, QNT, and IOTA. I want you to pay attention, if anything, to this particular segment. This is good stuff. I'll try to give you a good analogy of why this is so important. All right. There's a particular individual. They know who they are, in which I talked about this over the weekend. So if you're still here, this one's right up your alley. All right. So check this out. This comes again once again from Mr. Man. I want to talk about this. So we know that in Taiwan, for instance, semiconductors are a big thing. How am I tying this into the likes of quant and all this stuff? Just watch this example. So for one, from Mr. Man, he says, if a semiconductor company such as Tower Semiconductor can shoot up to over 8,855%, I don't see why financial infrastructure wouldn't experience a similar rise in value. True. He's got, all those ones we just talked about, right? For me, it's this, right? Because people have asked me about this. Max, what about quant? All right. Here's what I want you to think about. All right. So for one, you saw in the past, Mr. Larry Fink talk about, the tokenization of assets and putting that basically into, on blockchain and these other things that we talk about, DLT and whatnot. What does that actually look like? For me, it's like, you better believe that, like what Cool Cat Crypto was talking about. He was like, you better believe that Larry Fink knows about BSV, right? Well, at the same time, you better believe Larry Fink knows about Quant Network. He himself might not go online and do all this research that we're doing, but he definitely has somebody who's given him the memo about some of this stuff. Because, if you're talking about the tokenization of all this, then what better more to have, an easy platform for institutions to come in and tokenize just that. Last I checked, that is literally quant big time, right? Being able to come in with, do 3 lines of code, if that, and just make it really, really easy. Do you understand what it means to tokenize assets and do just that, put on blockchain? So for one, we know that when it comes to specifically BlackRock, 10 trillion in assets, again, guys, like I said, even at like 10%, that's roughly over, well, because you got to keep in mind the market is not exactly, or BlackRock's not right at 10 trillion even. So I think it's a little bit over. So that comes in, it becomes tokenized. That literally doubles our current overall crypto market, right? Because of 10% from that 10 trillion. So that becomes tokenized. Obviously, it's going to be a lot higher than that. We'll just lowball it at that. So for one, the overall crypto market, and I'm going to show you an example of the overall crypto market just to give you that visualization. We've seen it increase, but can you imagine if BlackRock in itself came in, themselves would boost this up to 2.07 trillion, give or take. That's a big, big deal. Okay. What about State Street or something like that? All right. Let's say, for instance, they come in and they bring 250 billion. All right. That increases it. A Vanguard. All right. Now let's say, that's like a 500 billion. I'm just saying, give or take. All right. So next thing you know, this thing starts leapfrogging itself, because especially when it comes to the talks of ETFs and so on, you see the market get back to previous all-time highs that you saw at the end of 2021. But if you have a case where, we do talk about the BlackRocks and so on, I mean, come on, guys. Are we still oblivious to all this? Look at BTC. Look at where it's at currently speaking. It only has a market cap of 522 billion. Some people say, well, like, only, Max? Are you kidding me? I'm new to crypto. That sounds like a lot of money, and that's the number one. True, it's the number one. Were you aware that Bitcoin originally was way higher than that? I should say originally, back in late 2021, right? Well into the trillions, okay? So imagine you have a new player, I should say a new player, but you have the likes of Quant, you have the likes of Overledger, right? And you're tokenizing, let's say, not just BlackRock, but some of these other ones, right? Literally, like Larry Fink said, tokenizing that. Like, what kind of can you imagine the value of that? This is where we talk about some of you guys never seen anything go parabolic overnight. Remember that example we gave at the very beginning of the show, talking about that one day where it literally says BTC, like literally in one day could just go crazy, parabolic, right? I've seen that happen before. I saw it happen late 2021, right? 11/11/2021, boom, and went crazy. I think you start seeing that with the likes of something like with QNT, for instance. I truly believe it's going to be number one. So people don't agree with me on that. The reason why I state that is for multiple reasons, but we always talk about the institutional money, right? Institutional tokenization. You better believe that is going to cause the likes of Quant, for instance, to do some crazy things. So anyway, I want to show you an example from Mr. Man about how that actually looks. All right. Now, this, of course, is Tower Semiconductor. And like he says, companies like this can shoot well over 8,855%. But the key takeaway from you or for you should be that supply and demand. So if you have, again, the BlackRocks and so on, and some of these other ones, it creates so much supply and demand for the particular digital assets you hold that allows the utility of some of these things to happen. Let's play this. It's only 15 seconds. I won't even come out of the frame for this one. Isn't that nuts? Look at that. Look at that. Boom.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you don't think that we'll play it again. You don't think that can happen in crypto? Believe you me, if you've been paying attention to this stuff, that will definitely happen. And it's going to happen. What asset is it going to happen for you with? I'm putting my bet on Quant. Yeah, I'm putting my bet on QNT all the way. Now, some of you guys will also say XRP, and so I get that. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm looking at it from the perspective, who is going to be the new number one? You know, of course, XRP and all these other ones are, you could easily say a lot of these will probably be in the top 5. HBAR, I saw the video from Rich Common Sense Crypto. He's talking about probably a top 5. Hey, I get it, right? But some big things could very well happen. Are you prepared for when all this happens? That's the bottom line. Are you truly? Do you understand the supply and demand of any of this stuff? Anyway, just thought I'd give you that example. Let me know what you think in that regard. Or you feel it's like, nah, like that one guy from Crocodile Dundee Part 2, the Aborigine. Nah, needs garlic, right? Like, anyway, you get where I'm going. Let's get back into the comments. We got a little bit more for you guys. Up next is a little bit more of, some of this talk is going to come from Cypress Dominicors back to the XDC, and this is good stuff. Let's get into a few more comments, though. I do appreciate you guys being here tonight. And let's see here. We got a report from Sideline Reporter, Mr. Henry Brown. Citigroup will let rich clients use private blockchain to transfer assets. Investment banking giant Citigroup today announced the launch of a digital token service for institutions. Again, back to what we're talking about in regards to digital tokens services, right? Last I checked, I think that's a good example of what we just said. Let's welcome Anthony. Welcome back. Glad to have you back. Glad you found the channel. Boom. Let's welcome Salamander, XDC Commander. We welcomed you before, but he says XRP is waking up again. Let's check that out real quick. So XRP, I think it is kind of waking up. Let's see what's going on with that real quick. So we got this on CMC. You know me. Yep. Now over 51 cents. We could have got it for what, 47 cents, guys, not that long ago, right? My original bag of XRP was 32 cents. What was your original bag? Some of you guys, been buying into it way longer than me, but anyway, that was my first bag, 32 cents. But anyway, yeah, 1 hour chart starting to do something, 2.90%, 24 hour, 7-8 chart, and my phone, I still get KuCoin updates, always says it's the most traded on their exchange. So pretty interesting. All right. Rue Black. What up, Max? What up, Mr. Rue Black? Give him a follow. I'm glad to have the brother Rue here. Glad to see you, Rue. We got to get you back on this show at some point. I want to share his channel with you guys because he's a good guy. And you know what? He brings the research. He knows the research. So let's give him a plug, Mr. Brother Rue at Black Rue. Let's pull that up. All right. So here he is. And yeah, let's pull this up. He's at 1.57K subs. He's got no recent videos, but that's okay. But he does a live show, I know, quite often. Yep, 2 days ago. Musk obtaining license. See, so that would have been a good compliment to what we talked about earlier, right? With Elon Musk. He talked about TON and Telegram, picked the highest ROI. I mentioned TON just a little bit to, Mike Cornwall a few months ago. And I said, I think there might be something worth paying attention to here because of everything. If you think about it, it's Telegram tokenized. And if you look at any DeFi project, what they always shill to you guys, check out our Telegram. In my opinion, I don't get on Telegram much because it's very toxic, but yeah, right, exactly. I realize that, for some of the degen projects and so on, DeFi, degen, where you want to refer to it, there's some that are DeFi and some are just degen and DeFi. You get where I'm going with that. But anyway, yeah, wherever you want to call it, the tokenization of of Telegram, that is literally Toncoin, right? So I think that's pretty cool, right? And yeah, and glad to see he talked about 2 days ago. He's got some other ones here. But yeah, check him out. He does do the deep dive research. We do deep dive research, and you like that, check him out at Black Rue. All right, we'll leave that up there for a bit. I'm going to read this from Danilo. My good everyone, trying to put my little one to sleep. Oh, no worries, man. I understand. We also got Andre DeFi. How's it, Max and fam? Catching up. Well, glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. It's been a while. Andre DeFi, glad to have you, man. It's going well, man. Not too bad. All right, let's also welcome Scottish Crypto. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And it looks like we got a bunch of people from the Volt Army. We're getting volted. Voltage change. Well, welcome to you guys. I want to burn your token supply. Use voltage change. Okay. Well, we do welcome you guys. Thank you for being here. Crypto market track, 60 likes. Let's go. William Mack, Volt Army. Appreciate you, sir. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Thanks, guys. Do appreciate that. Jack Thompson, good evening, Max. It's Tucson. Got all 3 XLM, XRP, you got the X's. Right on, man. Right on. Glad to see you, Jack, especially in the live. Thank you for all your support on the record as well. What do I think about XRP? Hold on. What do you think XRP going to do, bro? Oh, man, there's big things for XRP. It's a long-term hold to, in my opinion, minimum, late 2025. You got to wait for everything to be fully implemented, And again, that's why I'm always using those examples of utility in motion. You see a little bit of it, but things aren't, fully implemented. People who know, they know. People who don't, they're going to say, hey, I'm not seeing a bunch of price action. I'm going to get scared. I'm going to get out of this and so on. XRP is part of that generational wealth package of cryptocurrencies that I got to have, and I'm glad to have it. All right, Jose, aka Jay, good to have you here, man. Shout out, Max. Give me a shout out. Well, shout out. Okay, shout out to Jose. I can never pronounce your last name right. Muskies, if I pronounce that right, or Musquiz. That's probably not the right way. Muskies. I don't know. Sorry, man. I'm not pronouncing it right. But on Twitter, I know he was Jay. Shout out to Jay. Yeah, thank you for all your help with all your great logos and everything like that. Speaking of which, I will give him a shout out. So I'm going to show you guys something here. You've probably seen this already. Let me just pull it up, because why not? And yes, you're going to see my weird looking mug again. All right. So this coin, okay, let me full screen this. That coin, the black chip Maximus, so blue chips, the black chip, I don't know. Jay here, right? This guy, Jose, Jay, whatever you want to refer to him as, on Crypto Twitters, Jay. He made that, right? I thought it looked pretty cool. And I was like, it looked a lot better than the way it was written out. And then, of course, there's Legrand Commission. He made the banner. I know where it says Monday through Thursday. That little dash is not perfect, but so what? But you want to know something? It's our community helping out. I really appreciate, Jay, you helping out with that and all the quant little, logos you make and so on. You made like an F4U Corsair. I guess I'll share that real quick. Just real quick, right? Recognize our community. We'll get back into the news here in a bit. But yeah, he hooked me up with a bunch of stuff. Let's just check this out real quick. Give him a little highlight, right? Recognize a member of our community. So look at this one, right? Or you know how we're always like, Jasmy scam, right? So basically speaking, look at this. It's a scam, quant. Nah, just effing with you. It's the world's most undervalued asset. This is good stuff. Look at this. I'm a huge aviation fan, right? Like World War II, anything World War II, especially when it comes to, aeronautics and stuff like that, aviation. Like, anyway, FRU Corsair, rest in peace. Colonel Greg Pappy Boynton. My dad got to meet him before 1988. He met him at an air show, right? He's got the quant logo on that. That's pretty cool. All right, this is what Jay made, the guy that's, in the comment that you see right now. That one for quant, I don't know. That one's okay. This one's kind of cool. Look at that one, right? It's just some art, the ace. I got to make some of the stuff figure out a way to make it look good in a thumbnail, right? So danger, fires off the moon without warning, quant, no smoking, flammable, overledger, operating system gateway is kind of cool. Obviously, he has a bunch of other logos. Let's see here. He made that one for me. He wants me to research OXOAI. I think maybe OG Crypto talked about that one. Hold on a second. Here's some of the other logos he's made. Right, it's not bad. Yeah, it's kind of cool. How about you go get the guns? Oh boy. All right. I don't want to make it political right now, but anyway. Well, this one ain't bad. I mean, maybe it's kind of political. Quant will make you rich like me, right? That one's kind of cool. I shared that thing about Shane, which is cool. I don't know. He's got a bunch of stuff here. Hold on a second. I don't want to share like everything on the DM, but he's got a bunch of other stuff, right? Flammable. Will fire off to the moon without warning. That's good stuff. He's got some good art. Like he's got some other ones that are just really cool. I really like this one too. With the queen. That one's cool. The buildings. This one is just kind of all right. Trying to tell me it's a hubcap. That ain't no hubcap. That's like a quarter that you like photoshopped. Combustible, fire off to the moon. A hockey puck. I don't know. Some of these ones are really cool. Like this one, instead of a blue chip, it's a red chip. I don't know. There's just there's that one he made for me, but I had to fix it a little bit. I didn't want to make it look like I was Maximus at, part of a pygmy, come find me out in some rare jungle or something like that. And, I'm a cannibal or something, but it's okay. I used this one in a thumbnail before, but yeah, man, I mean, he's got a lot of cool stuff. So play with Quant, play with your life, the God Emperor token coin. What's this? Patience. It's like it's like that thing you stick in the hole of a lock to open. More me. I don't know. Highly explosive rocket fuel. So yeah, he's got a lot of cool art, and eventually I'm gonna use some of these. It just depends on the topic. So like, I could talk about a certain topic, and it just won't look right on a thumbnail for whatever reason. But I'm not gonna show that no more. All right, anyway. All right, glad to highlight you. I give you a shout out, man. I give you some praise for crying out loud, man. Oh, another thing I want to tell you guys: if you end up following him. He is on crypto Twitter. He is, let's pull him up real quick. Here's where he could be followed at. Yeah, right here. He could be followed at Jose MUZQIZ 317. He forges a bunch of stuff. Yep, see, this is one of his hobbies. He's a member of our community and so on. So we thought I'd give him a highlight. Anyway. But yeah, give him a follow. Just giving you a heads up, even on YouTube comments. He is very sarcastic, and you might have to have a few, I don't know, like pineapple juice or something. You got to take it, his sarcasm with a grain of salt, or maybe like a full pound of it. No, that's no disrespect. But anyway, glad to have you here, Jose, aka Jay. Mena Lagwar is also here. He says, good morning. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. ISO scam. Yeah, right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's go further down. Yeah, glad to see you guys are talking to each other. Did I just call you a token? Jose scam. No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's read this from Jack Thompson. Did you hear Robinhood bought 35 trillion Shiba Inu earlier this week? Wow. Been about time, but the accumulation phase. Even exchanges want to buy it for super cheap, right? I'm glad you recognize that. You're going to be number one, Max. Well, thanks. It just takes a lot of hard work and so on, but I do appreciate you guys being long-time supporters and so on, and through the good times and bad, right? Thank you so much, Jack. It means a lot, man. Minalagor, good show. Keep it up, Max. Super scam was a joke. If you already want to know, I know it was. It's fun. It's just something we say a lot around here, because especially the flutters, it's like I could do like the greatest video of all time of my content creation journey, like the thing we shared earlier. I mean, some people say it's speculative. I mean, I get that, right? But like, what's a good example? Jasmy Quant, the connection, was it Soramitsu, ISO TC 307, and some of the other stuff, right? Where like literally showing like, look, there's something there, right? There really legitimately something there. And then some of those guys would be like, I look at chart, Jasmy scam. That's it. That's all they need to hear, and that's all they will provide. So, anyway. All right. So, Jose Moose Keys. Oh, okay. Now I know how to pronounce it. You got to think about it this way, right? Some of you guys are old school, with Bullwinkle. I mean, it'd be like, and on today's show, kids, we got the wonderful Jose Moose Keys. I had to. All right. Calvin, did Coinbase reinstate XRP yet? Yes, I believe so. I think that was reported a while back, man. I'm pretty sure, you can go and buy XRP on Coinbase. All right. Okay, Max, a shout out. Not a documentary. Oh, I see how it is. All right, fine. I show a little love, and that's how you diss me? That's how you diss me, man? You can get out of here. No kidding. All right. He likes artists. Okay. Yeah, he does like to be an artist. You don't want the documentary. All right. All right. Last time I show anybody love from our community, right? I'm kidding. Okay. Let's get back to what we have. And this time it's back to XDC. This comes from Cypress to Manicore. This is good stuff. You're on the topic a lot of XDC. And I do feel as though that if something big is going to happen, I'm going for the 303. I'm going to keep stating that. So let's share this. This is something that he posted in Cypress. Give him a follow while you guys follow him. He says, XDC network representative explaining how ETH will dwindle away over time to be replaced with third generation tech. We've been saying this for the longest time. I mean, if you think about BTC, Ethereum especially, right? I mean, especially Ethereum. Yeah, they have more smart contracts. They're the largest smart contract ecosystem in all of crypto. So what, right? So what? There's so many devs realizing that there's better things to get involved with. Stellar, for instance, with Sorbonne. We got a report about that, by the way, on the Stellar segment. But especially XDC. And like he says, XRP, XLM, HBAR, all third generation. Right. So let's play this. It's only 1 minute and 4 seconds. Pretty good find from Cypress to Manicore. Spanish.like. Here we go.
Here. There we go. See here that the
And no, I can't turn up more. This is the highest it goes, unfortunately.
Here. There we go. See here that the distinction between the growth rate and what Ethereum is doing, that gap is being filled in by third generation projects. And so that's part of, the data that suggests first has come in, second has come in, and now third generation is really starting to take hold. Another way to look at that same third generation increase is if you look at a distributed finance, DeFi, and you look at the total amount of value locked in, and you look at the percentage of that total value locked in by chain, you see that over 90% of the value used to be Ethereum, and now it's dropped considerably to, say, less than 50% or thereabouts. And that trend will continue. And so again, third generation.
Yes, third generation. Something to be said about, especially not just XDC, guys jumping ship from, Ethereum, and they're like, Stellar, for instance, XDC, all these other ones. Why is that? A lot less expensive, a lot more faster, right? It's the new upgraded technology. So such, why wouldn't they do that, right? You know where I'm going. All right. Obviously, we have some more for you. I know we're roughly at the 2 hour, 18-minute mark, but you got to keep in mind, I have to do a little bit more extended shows, right? Because I'm trying to get back to where I need to be. All right. So let's see here. We're going to share a little bit more. And this is kind of a follow-up to that video. So this is good. Let's share this. So again, the video that was just shared, this guy named Devin says, isn't XRP first generation? This is good stuff. And of course, Cypress responds with, let me get out of that screen, sorry. XRP is often considered a third generation blockchain or digital ledger technology by some experts and enthusiasts. True. A lot of people, of course, like this guy Devin, saying, well, isn't XRP first generation? Because you always see it labeled as a first generation with some of the other ones and so on. But, you know, it's moving bank money and so on. So that's a legitimate statement. Cypress says, however, the categorization of blockchain generations is not always straightforward, and different sources may have slightly different definitions. In general, the concept of blockchain generations is used to describe the evolution of blockchain tech. First generation blockchains, for example, these are exemplified by Bitcoin, which introduced the concept of decentralized digital currency. First generation blockchains are primarily focused on cryptocurrency and limited scripting capabilities. Yes, very true. Second gen blockchains, Ethereum is often seen as the key representative of second generation blockchains. These blockchains introduce smart contract functionality. Again, like what we were talking about earlier. You know, let's face it, ETH is still, you know, the biggest, right? You got, you know, hate to reference this guy, but he said a long time ago, I'm not gonna say his name anymore, but he was saying that, you know, is Ethereum, like, should we look at Ethereum like it's McDonald's, right? They're everywhere, but is that the best hamburger to get? No, not really. There's other ones, right? Enabling developers to create decentralized applications, dApps, on top of blockchain. Ethereum expanded the use, of blockchain beyond just crypto. Very true. Third generation blockchains, right? Let's get into the good stuff. Aim to address some of the limitations and scalability issues of earlier generations. They often emphasize speed, scalability, and interoperability. Ripple's XRP, along with projects like Cardano, which, let's face it, is ISO 222 compliant or on the cusp of being it. I don't know. We saw that interview from Charles Hoskins, and I can't keep up with if it is or isn't, but it always gets mentioned. And then also EOS and others are often considered part of this generation. XRP in particular is known for its focus on fast and low, obviously cross-border payments. No kidding. All right. Getting into a little bit more because we do have some good things to share with you guys. I'm going to jump into this right now. And we'll have a tiny break, I should say, to share something kind of funny. We need to get a laugh at this point. And some of you guys saw this, some of you didn't. I referenced Boomer F and Sooner on this one. Shout out to you, Boomer. This is for you, my friend. So I said, and I tagged all the stuff that we normally talk about: Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC, and Xera, LCX, HBAR, Casper, Algo, IOTA, Jasmy, Filecoin, Clearpool, BSV. Tagged Boomer F and Sooner because he was saying that his family, or not family, his coworkers were, laughing at him because he was trying to talk crypto with them and so on, blockchain DLT. So I said, this is basically me when the bull market hits and all my coworkers, friends, and family doubted me. But I put in the time doing the research, and they put in the time all the time listening to mainstream news. And of course, that's a reference to when that movie come out, 1987, 1988, I can't remember, but this is Major League, the first one, right? This is Harris, the pitcher, all right? He was a veteran pitcher. And he looks at Joe Boo, the idol, and he's just like, up your butt, Joe Boo. He just takes a drink anyway. Anyway, it's kind of funny. That's the way I'm going to look at it. I'm going to be like literally looking at like, yeah, all you doubters out there, got a little bit of this left. Up your butt, Joe Boo, right? Maybe that's the new thing we say around here, right? Instead of Jasmy Scam. Up your butt, Joe Boo. Anyway, fun stuff, right? All right. We're going to get into, obviously, a little bit more of what we have. So let's get into it. So there is that. And I think I do render tomorrow. I mean, the render segment is pretty good. Talked a lot about Jasmy. I think for Rich Dad, Poor Dad was pretty good as well. Hold on a second. I want to show you guys this. This whole thing about the glitching. I mean, some people think it's fake. Some people think it's true. Still, it's not really utility in motion, but what do you think about this real quick? Ripple's XRP, the glitching. Let's full screen this for a bit. XRP Whale posted this. $146 plus on multiple exchanges. Appears to be glitching to that. Wow, is this what's to come? I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that it's glitching? They're just testing it? I don't know. You know, Dingy, aka Daniel, he tagged me on this one. That's how I pulled that one up. But, you know, even Rich, Common Sense Cryptos addressed this. So what do you think? Nothing burger? Or do you think there might be something solid there? Because it keeps glitching on multiple exchanges. It'd be one thing if it was just one exchange. All right, CMC, for instance, is not an exchange. It's a listing, right? But what do you think? You know, is there something to be said about this? All right. Tad bit more before we kick it back into the comments. We do have some more for you guys. I want to talk about Casper for a brief moment. This is from Kevin Cage. This is also some good stuff. I know I'm kind of rapid fire going through a lot of these because I just don't want it to be like a 4-hour show. So on this one, check this out. It came out of the frame, but this is good stuff. So we do talk about Casper. We maybe not talk about like all the time, but I'm definitely still talking about Casper. Kevin Cage, X Frontier. You should be following these guys, right? They always talk about Casper. It's like the foundation of their channels and so on, and rightfully so. Casper Labs will be speaking at Digital Assets Week in Singapore as silver sponsor with what city? State Street. See, State Street. Remember we talked about them earlier? Talk about institutional money. Archex using Hedera for tokenization. We talked about tokenization earlier too. I mean, there's going to be other ones that are also going to do tokenization, right? Not just, for instance, you know, Quant, but you know, Quant's going to be doing a hell of a lot. UBS, Bank of Singapore, Ripple's Medico, HSBC, National Australia Bank, BitGo, DBS, which is part of that Hedera Governing Council. Going to blow this up and come back into the frame for a bit. All right, check this out. So you got these silver sponsors and gold sponsors, obviously, right? Silver sponsors. So Maple. If you want the quick gist of Clearpool, Clearpool is basically a lot like Maple, but it's a lot cheaper, way cheaper. You can get like, you know, a lot of Clearpool, right? On Maple, you're going to pay a heck of a lot more. You know, we're talking about some of these other ones, right? Ledger Enterprise, BitGo. Get into the next part. Audience groups, traditional listing actors, including advisors, brokers, lawyers, accountants, platform service, you name it, right? Including exchanges. But look, this tokenization platforms. So, I mean, you already have an idea of, you know, what we talked about earlier. And what we talked about earlier was the tokenization of institutional assets. This is what, you know, why I still feel as though for a lot of you guys, you know, and even myself, and I am doing it, I haven't hit all my goals. This accumulation phase, like, are we diversifying more into the ones that are going to tokenize, right? For those institutions. I mean, if you see State Street literally listed right here, and you do, why not pick up some Casper? You know what I mean? I'm just stating, like, I understand for a lot of us, like, you know, it's like, well, I just want to be a quant maxi, or I just want to the XRP, XLM, or whatever, right? Just the X's and so on. I'm just stating, like, Casper is still very undervalued. It's nice to have it part of, you know, the portfolio. I do. And I'm looking at it from the perspective of, like, I need to add more to my portfolio because I know what it's all tied into and so on. So, you know, when we talk about, like, institutional tokenization, it's not specific to you know, like one day, right? But if you have a nice diversified portfolio that also Casper, Hedera, like we talked about earlier, Quant, right? Any mention of institutional tokenization, why not hold them? I mean, if you know the bigger picture and what's tied in, all it's tied into, why not hold them? You know, and it's so incredibly undervalued. All right, how about this? Goes into, you know, some of these other things, financial institutions, banks, exchange funds, and so on. I mean, that right there should tell you ETF. Boom. You know, institutional crypto tech, including finance-focused blockchains. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just trying to share what we have. So that's good stuff. Gonna come back in to the comments for a brief moment. And let's read a few more. All right. He's saying, nice work to Jose. That was a while ago, 837. Jack says he's in Jasmy as much as he can be because of my deep dives. No, Jack, no, it's not financial advice. I know. Well, thank you. That's a nice compliment. Thank you for that. River says sarcasm here. Nah. In a good way, this is the way. Yeah, I got to catch up on Mandalorian. All right, I just hit the like button after my brain turned on. Help a brother out. Pound the button. Thanks. Thank you for that. We are at 69 likes. I'm sure when Mr. Dingy, aka Dinu, watches the replay, he'll be like, yeah, Max, the 69 likes. I know. Sounds bad. All right, Unknown Scorpion. Look up the Major League movie scene where his coach pisses on the player's contract. Yeah, I remember that part too. Or how about this other part? I know Scorpion, right? Shortly after the up your butt, Joe Boo, right? All sorts of bad things happen to Harris, right? Gets hit with a baseball bat and all sorts of crazy stuff happens. So some bad, juju from Joe Boo to Harris. That movie's a classic, right? There's so many movies from the 80s that are classics. I actually like all the Major League movies. I know that a lot of people feel as though that Back to the Minors is it's a fun movie, Anyway, Bobby, yo, Max, good to see you, Bobby. Stopping in to show support and like. I'll try to catch the mashups. Thanks, bro. Oh, no problem. Bobby, you're probably not here anymore, but I want to state this. So we had a guy on the live show or the live Twitter space, right? And by all means, guys, attend our Twitter space. It was our first Twitter space. It was a hit. We had close to 50. Maybe we had over 50. I can't remember. But I saw it was close to it. On the first time ever doing Twitter space, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But anyway, it's going to get better. We're going to have a proper format and stuff. But it was so cool being able to literally hear your fellow brothers and sisters talk for the first time. Like I got to hear Henry Brown's voice and I was like, oh my gosh, man, like this guy's like the West Coast version of Nas or something. Like really cool voice. We heard Coochie Boy, right? Selmo Fudd basically referred to Coochie Boy as, the bishop of crypto. So next time we see a Coochie Boy here, I do the whole thing with Tim Shea, the mayor of crypto. I'm going to be like, hey, welcome Coochie Boy, the crypto bishop or bishop of crypto or whatever, right? But anyway, there's a guy, his name is Joel, and he has almost the same type of avatar you have. And I said to him, are you Bobby? He goes, no, I'm Joel. And I was like, oh, he's like, it's just a common AI generated avatar. So Bobby, is this a common AI generated avatar, or you are not even here probably anymore? And that's okay. All right. Are they testing scalability? Could be. But you got to keep in mind transactions, right? So I don't know. I found the clip. It's Coach Lou Brown. Let's Dorn know that he thinks of his contract exemption. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. I can't really play that because it's YouTube and it's stupid. It really is. They'll flag me for a copyright infringement of playing a movie. I play it from Twitter, even though it shows up on YouTube. That is played as a GIF. What you saw was a GIF, and he's not actually doing the audio, so it won't get flagged. I know it's stupid. Twitter doesn't care about all that stuff. YouTube has a hissy fit about it, and it's just dumb. Then I got my monetized channel. Maybe I can get away with it. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'll have to look more into that maybe for the next time, but yeah, maybe we'll play that. You don't think XCC is a better token pick? Better than what? How do you buy Casper in the USA? All right, so for one, I know where you're going with that because I did buy my Casper off of KuCoin originally. Let's see if we have anything else where we can get our Casper. Share this real quick. This is some of the educational content you're looking for. Lionel Richie. All right, here's Casper and markets. All right, obviously, all these are foreign markets. Let's see. Well, you know what? I would go with MEXC. Oh, it's on crypto.com. Interesting. Okay. Well, you can go with crypto.com then. But MEXC is pretty friendly. So I would either go with one or the other on that one. Probably MEXC. Probably going to be a little bit cheaper to buy it there. Hold on. Let's see. 0.03468. Crypto.com. Yeah. Crypto.com is always just a tad bit more. All right. So where else? You get on Ishmart. I wouldn't get it off of Ishmart. I would go with, I don't know, I'd probably go with MEXC personally. And then my second choice would probably be crypto.com. And then from there, you can always move it to a ledger or something. All right. So there you go. That answers your question. You can get it, on a U.S. exchange. Not MEXC, but, crypto.com. That's cool, right? Not too bad. I wasn't even aware of that. Yeah, so that answers that. Kylo, if you can't do both, Casper or Hedera. Oh, I gotta go with Hedera. I would, yeah. Hedera is still in my top 5. Some people say bullcrap, Max. It's your top 6. You gotta keep in mind, Quant and XRP are still tied for number 1. Number 2 for me is Stellar XLM. Number 3, XDC. Jasmy 4. Actually, Jasmy might be my 3. I don't know. But, those are like my top 5. Jasmy 4, Hedera 5. Not that exact order on those last 3, right? Kind of give or take. But XRP and Quant, my number 1s. Stellar's always been my number 2. And you can move the last 3 in a different position, or last 2. But yeah, Hedera. Casper is part of my top 10, but it's not part of my top 5. What do you think, Max, guys? I answered that. And that's okay. Maybe a little bit late to that. Only a couple of minutes. Fix this. Max in the house. Hello, internet fam. Hope you all doing well. Jasmy scam. Yeah. This is a joke, guys. Anybody that's new, don't think it's a scam. It's not a scam. Oh, it's a scam. I looked at chart. You don't tell me that Jasmy scam. I look at chart. Jasmy scam. I represent this crap consortium. I even saw Hala-san. He even said, let's go. For the record, Hara does say let's go. Like literally, he types in RET apostrophe S and then go. So don't think I'm trying to, pull something that's not, that's not good, Max. You shouldn't talk that way. Literally, he says it. So yes, I get a free pass from here on out to literally say Rice Crop Consortium. Let's go. Yes. Thank you. I am also from the old school where we used to not make a hissy fit over stuff like that. So, all right. Danilo's back. He says top 3 for him is Jasmy, Quant, ICP, Stronghold, and V. Nice. MEXC is not available in LA. LA? Huh. Let me see here. I don't know. Kind of weird statement. All right. Dame for me, half down. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna read a few more comments. Let's see what you guys got. We cannot bash China on this platform. You know that. Or any Asian nations. YouTube rules. Yeah, right. That'd be like me making fun of my own, shoot. I'm like, was it my mom's grandma was from mainland China. She married a Filipino from mainland Philippines, if you want to call it that. They were killed by Imperial Japanese forces in World War II in the northern Philippines. But it is what it is. All right. Solo and Corium. I think they're both good. I would go with Corium over Solo. All right, Max. White people like using vanilla candles and eat mac and cheese. The heck? Per se. And have coat racks and with umbrellas. The heck? What? Oh, nice. So that's why I got quiet. Well, I'll be darned. The 20, the 30, the 20, the 10, touchdown, Boomer effing sooner. Wow. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, April. You guys are a married couple. It's to be expected. That is awesome. The many benefits of being married, right? Absolutely. All right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Well, shoot. He's a hardworking guy, though, right? Anyway. God. All right. I'm gonna see what's left for what we have. If we don't have anything left, then we're gonna wrap things up. You gotta keep in mind, some of this stuff gets chopped up, some of it doesn't. The Jasmy segment definitely gets chopped up. All right. So how about this part? This is good stuff. This is from Crypto Geek. I will share this. This is good. Very, very good. Let's get into this. More of that XRP. Please smash that like. So here we go. On this one, what does it say? Breaking. Central Bank of England integrates the Ripple payment system XRP. Let's blow this up. And let's blow it up even more because it's going to be hard to see it from your couch. Another one, anyway. All right. I don't know. It's kind of big, kind of not. I'm not coming out of the frame. Might still be hard to read. Yeah, it's going to be hard for you to see it. So here it is. FinTech accelerate proof of concept. Ripple exploring the synchronized settlements of payments using the interledger protocol. How this part on the right, the Ripple solution utilized by the bank was built around the open source interledger protocol that enables payments to be made across different ledgers and networks across the world. A ledger is essentially a file used to record transactions. We know this, obviously. Measured in terms of a monetary unit of account. The solution used Ripple Connect, which acted as the interface that enables an institution's internal systems to integrate with the Ripple network. This means that payment instructions, can be sent and received, and the state of payments can be queried. The solution also used the ILP validator network, which coordinates the settlement of payments between the transacting ledgers and is the source of truth regarding the success or failure of such payments. We successfully integrated the Ripple solution. Boom, there you go. With the two simulated RTGS systems hosted on the cloud and demonstrated that we could process a successful cross-border payment across two RTGS systems simultaneously. That's interesting. Getting to the last part, cross-border payments, when applied to wholesale markets, present different challenges than when compared with retail and corporate transactions, which the Ripple product is designed to handle. The availability of liquidity in one such challenge, and the POC allowed the bank and the Ripple to begin exploring these questions. I don't know. Maybe you guys are interested in this stuff. Maybe you're not, but I thought it was cool to share that. Just a tad bit more. Let's jump back to this. All this other stuff is Jasmy, which is fine. It's just I didn't want to make the whole show Jasmy. Dang it, Max! I come here for only Jasmy. Make the whole show Jasmy. I don't know. Maybe at some point I do something like that, like Tuesday Jasmy show or something. I don't know. Not really. All right. This other one is good. This is also a couple more about JP Morgan. Let's see here. So this next segment will be just literally focused on Ripple all the way. This might get chopped up. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about this just for a brief moment. This will wrap up the coverage for the night. All right, so I want to share this with you guys. And again, this comes from ISO 222. Let's do it. Give him a follow. Really awesome with his findings. Okay. So he says JP Morgan XRP. What is this? Well, we're going to blow it up. So you do see a few things listed here. And yeah, let's pull this up. So for one, JP Morgan Mansart XRP 7.5% fund. Listed where? Under the name of UCITS. Date of authorization was, I think that's the fourth from the top, right? September 16th of 2016. Now, you may think that's a while ago. Still worth pointing out, right? Look at this. Let's jump back. And let's see here. This one guy says he looked it up and he said it was liquidated. Well, that doesn't sound good. So the guy said, not sure that information is correct. How could it be liquidated? Right. If it was just, authorized today, look at the date stamp. It says it was authorized September 16th. That's today. But if you think about it, September 16th, 2016. So I don't know about that. But anyway, this other part says, hold on. Bloomberg. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to catch up where I was at. About to pass IAM Structured Funds, PLC, JP Morgan, Mansart, XRP 7.5% fund. This is a nice find that this guy found. Structured Funds, JP Morgan, Mansart, is an open-end fund incorporated in Ireland. The fund's objective is to provide medium to long-term capital growth to shareholders in the sub-fund. The fund aims to achieve its investment objective by obtaining exposure to JP Morgan X asset risk premium risk priority 7.5%. All right. Then when you get more into this, hold on. It's kind of blurry again. If you're wondering, the other guy, like he was saying, like that's not valid. Well, apparently it is. So it is active. It is pending, whatever. I'm going to blow this one up because people are talking about Ireland real quick. I think this is kind of hard for you to follow tonight, but bear with us. So look at this. Here it is. So you have general information, company name, Passum Structured Funds, Public Limited Company, JP Morgan, XRP Fund. Literally says it's an XRP fund. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. Anything JP Morgan is a big deal. Registry status is active. Even has the code information. Jumping back more into this. You got another page? Yes, I got another page. How about this? Pull this up. Pass IAM Structured Funds, PLC, JP Morgan, Mansart, XRP 7.5% fund. And look at that. You even see a ticker symbol for the ID. JP, XRP, AEID, EUR. Then you got, just make sure I'm not muted, JP, XRP, AEID pending. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't feel as though it's interesting. I think it is, especially when we see the big banks of JP Morgan being listed as part of this. All right. So I'm going to get into this next part. Let me see. I'm going to go scroll down furthermore. All right. Yep. Here's a little bit more about JP Morgan, just in case you're believing some of the comments that you saw briefly. JP Morgan on importance of LEI to cross-border and blockchain transactions. He always cites this guy named Smoke, but I don't think this guy Smoke has a Twitter. We will play this. I'll show you guys a little bit more about this because it has benefits of LEI for clients, because you might not know what LEI is, and it's okay. It's a commonly asked question. Hopefully there's no audio issues. Let's go ahead and play this. Smash that like. Here we go.
For the client to have a globally recognized identity, it simplifies cross-border transactions. And this is like a nice connector with Leanne's presentation, is that more and more agencies, like customs agencies, are going to be looking for these identifiers. And so the a client who's growing their international business, it's beneficial for them to get an LEI. It also promotes financial inclusion by representing the company as a valid, registered global, you're having a global identity. And then the kind of what I think is sort of the next frontier with LEI is that it can support a digitally verifiable identity. And this is what's going to power the sort of digital economy. We have to know who we're doing, when we're doing peer-to-peer or point-to-point transactions without an intermediary, we need to be able to trust the entity on the other side. And in order to do that in a digital way, we need to be able to verify the identity of that counterparty. And this is where we get into a topic that I'm sort of a novice in, but there's a whole series of public key, private key, connections that allow us to verify who is on the other, side of a blockchain transaction. So the LEI can be used as the root of trust in that, or is the root in the chain of trust, because you have, and this comes back to the very beginning, the first slide, where the organization that is, the organization issuing the LEI has been accredited by Glyph, which is a nonprofit organization overseen by regulators. So it gives it that sort of safety and security. So you've got Glyph at the root, accrediting the LOUs to issue LEIs. The LEI then is getting issued to a company. That company can then issue verifiable credentials to their employees for to perform a role on behalf of the company. And every company has authorized signers, or you're authorized to pay an invoice or authorized to engage in a contract. So that ability to establish digital credentials for employees is something that can be valuable to firms of all sizes. So we see that as a big selling point of why LEI will be valuable for clients that are not subject to a regulatory mandate.
All right, in closing, because obviously we're losing a lot of people and it's almost 3 hours, right? So if anybody is actually paying attention to this, and if you're not, that's okay. It might get chopped up, it might not. If you're wondering, what the heck is an LEI, Max? I don't know that. That's Greek to me. That's a good point, right? I'm going to tell you what LEI is. It's a legal entity identifier. It's basically a reference code, like a barcode, right? It's used across markets and jurisdictions to uniquely identify a legally distinct entity that engages in a financial transaction. So for one, she was saying it's like, the root of a financial transaction identifier. Okay, true. So once you need ISO 222 for your identifier, yeah, I think so. What was referenced here? You guys don't see the screen, but it's the Office of Financial Research.gov, right? Literally, a government entity, right? Legal entity, literally. It's also helped to identify legal entities on a globally accessible database. What better database than, a global ledger? So you can understand how ISO 222 is tied into all of this and why it's going to make so much sense in the near future. If you have things that are going to talk to each other, recognize these LEIs and the ISO 222s and messaging standard, if you will, and what's all tied into the certain coins and tokens that are behind it all. Well, what kind of value is this going to have? And especially this connection of Ripple's XRP to JP Morgan, and is verified literally on a public ledger, right? The XRPL and so on. So I don't know. It's good research from ISO 222. Let's do it. Glad to bring it to you guys. We're going to wrap things up, and I'm going to read the last bit of comments, and then we're going to close up the shop, right? Right. So he's so hardworking, so sleepyhead. Yeah, that's understandable. He needs to get his rest. It is written, like Nas, right? It is written. Great album. XRP begot XLM, which begot XDC, then Quant X H bar Jasmy. Okay. I am not a sandwich at McDonald's, but that's okay. I understand where you're coming from. Have a great night, April Cornwell. She says, night, y'all. I may look like that I've consumed many Big Macs, right? Rafael Santos basically let me know. Max, look at this. Congratulations to me. I have a wonderful newly born baby. And he's like, he has a round face just like you. And I'm like, oh God. All right. Well, thank you. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, shout out to Rafael Santos and congratulations to him and his wife on the newly born baby. Mexi is not available in LA. I tried multiple times. Weird. Okay. Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly. Caspa's being sneaky also. New Jasmy partnership, Aplex Co. That's an old partnership, my friend. We covered that. Man, maybe 6 months ago, something like that. But I'll just give you a heads up. I'm not trying to I'll just get to the section. I won't show the channel, but hold on. Hold on a second. Let's pull it up. I think I got right here for you. Let me show you. All right. I did this one 5 months ago. My bad. Jasmy, the Aplix partnership. So I'm just trying to show you proof that it has been covered. All right. Yeah. All right. Night, everybody. I'm exhausted. I'll keep this streaming though. No worries. Thank you, Mr. OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta. You're flexing. Danilo. No, not China. That's funny. Jack Thompson, good night. Health and crypto wealth to you all. A Christmas carol. Good night, everybody. Says Kylo. You have a great night. You rockster, MaximusCrypto. Holla, 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 holla. Muhib Limited. Don't know why the majority of investors on Twitter are selling Jasmy for fear of the price falling. They just are not in the know. They have not done their proper research. No offense to a lot of people. It's just how it goes. It's what comes with territory. There's going to be people, they call it the shakeout, right? There's people get shook out. They give it to the fear. So, they let their emotions get ahead of them. And then they regret it later, But I'm glad you pointed that out. And consider change your avatar, Mr. Mohib Limited. All right, guys. Smash the like on your way out. Thank you for doing that. And we're at 72 likes. We'll have some chopped up stuff later on. I do appreciate you guys. We'll be back here at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, roughly in that area, for some more MaximusCrypto with our very enthusiastic community of blockchain and DLT researchers, right? Or enthusiasts. Anyway, you have a great night, everyone. I won't keep you any bit longer. We'll see you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye.